All right, bet. Gotcha.
Like, welcome, y'all. We're back with another Feng Shui. We got my boy Shadow in the house. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
You, my name is Shadow. My alias is Shadow on virtually every platform that I care to actually do. Uh, I'm 23. I'm a Gen Zer, and I guess the FGC would consider me an 09er. I started playing fighting games, if you want to count Budokai, Tenkaichi, and Budokai and Burst Limit. If you want to count that, then like 5 years old. Officially like Street Fighter, any quote real fighting game. Oh, probably like '08, '09. Street
Mhm.
Fighter 4. Uh, the game just seemed really cool, and I've started getting into the online scenery around late Super Street Fighter 4,
Okay.
and yeah, that's why I consider myself decent at the game.
Yeah, 'cause I know I
But
came in. I came in more around 2019. That's when I really started actually taking it seriously.
uh, I mean, when I say take it seriously, it's kind of interesting because I never like if you ever were the people that knew me, you would know I don't do tournaments. That's the thing. I like within the FGC kind of thing. I know a couple of the previous guests, like they actually help run things. They're involved in locals. I'm actually literally the casual, if you want to call it that. Uh,
And we all started at one.
people,
We all started at that point.
yeah, but that's the thing. People feel like, bruh, why don't you go to turn? Ramstar, great guy from Louisiana. Best he always asks me, and a few other people ask me why don't I play in tournaments or even online tournaments. They're just personally not the most fun to me. Like that's not what I'm there for. I'm just there to like literally enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Uh, Anytime someone asks me if I'm good and why, like, do I participate or why don't I participate? My answer doesn't change. It's literally like casual, quote unquote casual. But I like to win, obviously. Who doesn't? But I only effectively need to be as good as like I pretty much try to be as good as what's necessary to enjoy the game. So in Street Fighter 4, I would be like a B rank Akuma, and then in this game, I'd be 1900 MR Manon.
Okay. I was about to say, cause personally, like in this game right here, it's like I haven't really been taking it too seriously. And because people kind of ask me the question, like, "Well, why aren't you pushing towards master?" I'm like, I don't really care too much about it. I just like playing the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I start to kind of push every now and then on people to get master if I see that they should have the potential for it. But at the same time, I can't knock you because people ask me stuff like that all the time. Like, why don't you do this? I'm like, that does not sound enjoyable, bro. I know a lot of people. I put this tweet out. A couple people liked it. It was pretty nice. And it might translate thoroughly true. Effectively saying something to the lines of people wonder why the FGC is currently so like, for like a better term, dead. Like it's alive. There's a lot of drama also going on right now between the alternative FGC,
Yeah.
the other scandals, all the nepotism and all that. But like just on the casual basis, right, taking all that out, it feels kind of dead. It felt like that since like Street Fighter Five with the whole everything must be esports. You saw this in like other games like Halo,
Yeah.
most notably off the top of my head.
And you saw it, and you
Everyone's like,
and you kind of saw what happened to those.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like also failure to gatekeep on Halo, but it's like in Street Fighter, it's like you saw Street Fighter 5 and you could tell it was made with esports in mind. I think they might have even said that, which is just a red flag because I'm no fool, right? Like I'm not a fan of modern controls and the super appeal to casuals. Like the games are not supposed to be for everyone. No game is for everyone.
Yeah.
That's where the whole casual player like red flag kicks in. But at the same time, you're gonna lose a lot of the fun, charm that your game has, like literal life, like just on an aesthetic basis, right? You're gonna
Hmm.
lose a lot of that once you only cater towards think start to think that everyone wants to play your game competitively. Most of your people don't want to play the game for money. It's like not even 10% of your population of any given game, as far as I recall, at least less Street Fighter, at the very least Street Fighter. Not even 10% of your player base is really gonna play ranked like to the competitive levels of like where we're at that or even higher that wants to make money, etc.
Yeah.
So you should be like, more importantly than money, I always tell people from a business perspective. I'm not a bit in business, but it's just I watch a couple of people. It's just basic common sense. First and foremost, you don't want huge numbers. You want a loyal fan base. You want a fan base that will say to themselves, "This other game can't give me this. This is why I play Street Fighter. This is why I play Halo. This is why I play Civilization. It's another game I play. They provide something that no other game on the market can like give you. That's why Halo 3 was so popular, even though everybody's trying to play COD or Halo Reach, even so, Modern Warfare. Uh, you should be looking for what makes you different, and your fans, your real fans, will stick with you. They can argue with you. It's actually pretty decent and good that they're arguing with you and voicing their criticisms because that means they passionately care. Whereas you get games like Street Fighter 5, I think Mortal Kombat's currently doing it.
Yeah.
And
I
like
can.
COD games where I'll finish the point. Where like they don't feel the instant gratification of playing the game. It feels really samey. Everyone kind of looks at games as, oh, this is gonna be the game that I play with my friends for like a few months and then we dip. And then like no one cares anymore about your game, which is much more hurtful than actually having a passion for it.
Yeah, because I can attest to MK because I was waiting for that game, and then I only reason I don't like the game is because I don't like how they done Sub Zero, and it seems like they've kind of got a vendetta against him in this game. And
I'm not.
then it was like the online connections, and it's just like, okay, I can't play this game. This game is, you're playing in 150 some ping, and I'm like, I
Is
can't
the
play in
netcode
this.
still that bad?
Yeah, because when I tried, you know what? Let me try it again. Maybe I'm just giving it a rough thing. That's probably like last week sometime. I was like 160 ping, 135, and 150, and I'm like, I can't do this.
That's crazy. I'm not an NRS player. The only NRS game I ever well, I played Mortal Kombat 9, but that was a kid, and I casually for like a few weeks played Injustice 2, but I don't know. Every time I see Injustice or not Injustice, I'm sorry, NRS games like MK, I look at it, and the only time I ever thought people were having fun was like MK10.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
and everyone will pretty much tell you that. But outside of it, it's like no one likes the games. Seemingly, they have huge problems with it. I did see, what's it called, last Evo, the finals, and like everyone's playing the same 4 or 5 characters,
I
and it's just not fun, bro. And like that's what I mean by like for competitive play. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. And like, there's no soul to the game. Not everybody wants to be the next Sonic Fox like him. That's boring. I don't want to learn. I don't want to have to learn frame data. And is this plus on block? And what's the best button to press in this situation so I can get the bag at the end of the day? The bag that you get at the end of the day comes from your regular job, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
well, because I'll be honest with you, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, like I was looking forward to that game because, like you, I'm like, I played the Budokai games, and then once I got to
Yeah.
playing it, I'm like, and people were like, we're gonna make this a tournament game, and I'm like, have you played this game? Like
I
this is
was
not a tournament game, bro.
I was just listening to his video at work. And I agree with him thoroughly. It was a guy named Papa Yoshi. Uh, I, I'm heavily in agreement that like games like Budokai is the kind of games he said it and phrased it and such. It's a game where you just smash your action figures together. Effectively, that is what you're doing. That's what you've always been doing. Nobody's taking it seriously. You want to take it serious, that's what you have Dragon Ball Fighter Z for, which is why I didn't even play that game. You technically would have like Xenoverse 2. Uh, And then you look at Sparking Zero, and it's a good game, right? It's good. It looks pretty good. But if you ever played the game for, say, like your total playtime was anything above like 4 hours, the magic starts to wear off, and you're like, oh right. There's the rank, the accessories. There's like virtually none, no real customization. The songs are locked behind $15 paywalls.
Mm.
And it's like,
But you got,
well,
but you
the
got
magic, yeah.
but you got hundreds of characters.
Yeah, you got hundreds of characters, but everyone only has two. If you want to play with your friends, everyone seemingly wants to play like the same couple of fusions. Like if you were to play Sparking Zero, everyone and their mom is constantly going. Remember, if you remember like how the hype was,
Mm-hmm.
200 characters. I'm willing to bet there's 300 characters, 150 or something like that is what we get plus. And then like you hop online expecting to see like this whole cast, and then you see like the same like 15 characters. It's
Yeah.
a 15 character game. You don't see more characters than like Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter 5 on launch when you hop on that game.
Like when I stopped playing the game, it was like I kept running into the same problem on rank. It was just Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta the whole time. I was like,
Exactly.
I'm just like, man, this is just really boring because everybody's playing the same character, the same comp. It's like, man, this ain't fun anymore. It really just made me not even
Exactly.
want to play the game anymore.
Exactly. And then that's what that's like my critique with like every fighting game like kind of scene, especially or just gaming in general, but like specifically fighting games. Because this is what I keep like getting back to is like the soul, right? I know like if I'm playing Sparking Zero and I see you pick Blue Jito, I know for a fact that's not even your favorite character. You just know that he happens to have like a few good moves and he just does better like overall bang for your buck. That doesn't like there's no soul there. You're not actually beating me. You're just picking up the best tool to beat me, in which you have no actual passion in using. It's like it's as if instead of like picking the job you love, you just pick the 9 to 5 dead end job simply because it pays you like $3 extra or something. Well, no, two extra bucks to which you won't even get like your best results from. You're not that productive. It's like I see people playing Street Fighter 6 in this game, and I'm looking at the roster. It's like let's see, you're gonna see a ton of Kens, Camis, Kumas, which I like Akuma, but it's whatever. Bison, you see like the same five-ish characters at the top, and that wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that I'll ask the players themselves. And this offends me more than anything, really, is like when they don't have a passion or an interest in the game they're playing, they only can perceive pressing buttons and wondering if they get, victory at the end of the screen. Like I asked the guy, I was like, bro, you play Cam, you've been playing Cam for like a while. Yeah, you like this character? Yeah, right, right. Doesn't know the name of some of the moves, like doesn't know what spin knuckle. Like spin knuckle. You're even a decent rank, but you didn't know that the move was called like cannon spike or gyro drive smasher. You don't know that her name's Cammy White or Delta Red. It's like, bro,
Oh
at
yeah.
the end of the day, you're just playing just to like achieve some rank. And it's like that's where your soul you see that in Street Fighter 5. There's no soul, man. Like look at Street Fighter 4's intro. Look at that intro. Look at that main menu, the character select theme. The game had personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is like it's literally the we're so back. Fighting games are so back. And obviously that attracted me. And then I'm like, I'm hopping on the ship. And it's not just fighting games or Street Fighter. It's like other games like I've told you, but I look at Street Fighter 5, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm on the ship. What's going on? What else are we doing? And then you ever hear Street Fighter 5's main menu theme? You ever look at that main menu and it's just like, oh, yeah, okay. You hear the sound effects and it's just dinks instead of like it's hard to explain it, you know what I mean? Like you know it when you see it.
It ain't got,
Like
it don't have a style of its own. It's kind of just generic.
exactly. Yeah, it's like some guy was just told, hey man, we need you. We got like a week. You go ahead and like put us a UI. Okay, sure. Whereas you hear like the Street Fighter 4 development team story, and that guy, there's this guy, forgetting his name because I'm not good with names, but he was like straight up advertising Street Fighter like more than anyone, like as a fan too. Like he was trying to get everyone hype about Street Fighter, asking them if they'd be interested in new Street Fighter. Eventually, got to the higher ups, and then you can like see it on the character select screen. You get the ink style, you get the art. It appeals to casuals and competitive players, which is like it's a hard thing to do, but everyone constantly talks about this game is made for the competitive players and the sweats, and this is made for the casuals. I forgot one or two podcasts ago, someone was talking about that, and I was like, yeah, bro, because some games are actually capable of doing both. You know, like TF2. I don't play that, but I've seen that people have fun. People take that game competitive. Halo 3 is probably like the golden example of just you can do whatever you want. You can take it competitive. You can play casually. You can play somewhat competitively on ranked. You can just play in forge mode. There's a story. There's speed run. Like anything you want, Halo has it, right?
Yeah.
But you hopped on Street Fighter 4. Virtually everyone's just having fun, being content with throwing out a Hadoken. Maybe they don't know how to do Ultra or Vegas or Guile's Ultra, but they're having fun. And then you get Street Fighter 5, and it's like, well, that was too. Well, actually, Street Fighter 4 also has that, but then you also like, if you want to look it up, you can just see Tokido doing heavy kick, light jab, heavy kick, a light jab, and it looks easy until you try that one link. Uh, the Sakanoko combo, which I'm not even a combo god for me. It's just, it just doesn't look crazy. Like numbers go up doesn't really get me, but you look at the Sakanoko combo, and you can tell a casual guy can play this and have fun, like couch co-op, you and the boys, or you can like actually, nah, I'm trying to get good at the game and like do some sick stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I got you.
And then yeah, it's just like every character also have more personality, right? You hop on Street Fighter 6, and it's Fireball Drive, Rush, Crouching Medium. Everyone kind of looks at every character trailer with the eyes of this is what will do they check the checklist? Did they make the checklist? Oh, Fireball, check.
Oh
Crouching
yeah.
medium kick drive rush, check. Yeah, it's like all right,
I can
bro.
agree with that because when my trailer came out, I watched a couple of videos of people like, does she have a low forward drive rush? Because they didn't show it in the
Yeah,
trailer. I'm like, I don't know. She might have one.
that's what kills the game though. Like if everyone is looking to like just be the best, which is paradoxical, right? Because fighting games, fighting games are like the most personal and like merit based genres you can really participate in, which is why it's so small. Because everything at the end of the day falls on you. But at the same time, people seemingly just don't want to have fun. They just want to win. And that's not the same thing. People will try and cope and tell you that either you're bad for thinking otherwise or you don't understand. But it's like, nah, some people actually just want to have fun, bro. Being good can be fun, but like, I'm not playing just to get a bag. I don't want to be the next punk. I don't want to be sponsored. I just want to have fun playing the game.
Yeah. Because like I said, I understand. Frame data, all that stuff. I understand it, but sometimes I just play because I do something because I want to do it. Not, and I'm
Right,
not
right.
trying. Like I don't care if I win or lose. Like it just points online. It don't really matter like that. But
Well, I agree. I agree. It's funny enough. I do actually somewhat take. I jokingly, with my friend groups, take the points or MR thing seriously. I always joke that's like your like power level from like Dragon Ball Z, early Dragon Ball Z. But I'll take that semi seriously because it's ranked, right? But at the same time, I'm not gonna like hop in custom room and act like every match was like a tournament setting, right?
like
Uh,
you're not going in a rank and gonna crash out because you had a bad session.
yeah, that's not really me. Although a lot of people are kind of like entitled, so like the whole debate of play first to play the whole set in ranked games. I'm just like, bro, that guy pays 60 plus bucks. And they're not entitled. Like you're not entitled to a full set, bro. Like rank does not mean as much for that guy. Or like they just assume like a lot of people are going, Street Fighter needs to be a force first to two, and we're gonna lock you in and double your points. And I'm just like, that sounds awful. Like
Like
if something's a bad matchup or the guy was lagging online, you don't want to play another game. I saw even people like Idom. He played against I think this Ken, I believe, and he was like he was like look, I'm gonna be real because he beat him, and he was like, but I don't want to fight that anymore. And he just went and done the nose fun. Everybody's LOL. But you should not feel like you paid $60 and you're entitled to play. That's crazy.
yeah. But I kind of I don't know about that with Idol because I'm like if that would have been the reverse, I think
Like items players.
he wouldn't have been so just LOL on it. It would have been the reverse if he lost and the guy just won and done and left.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people also I really hate the like top player glaze. They just assume that, well, Daigo said this, Sako said this, Ion said this, Punk said this, Mana said this, which means it must be true because they get the final say. They're like the top 0.1% of the game. You think we're gonna like base everything off of them? That's awful. I actually at that point take the like more casual approach because that average Joe doesn't know about frame data. He doesn't know why Camy's crouching medium punch was so good. Uh,
But that's to me
like things like that, man.
that to me is what ruined Street Fighter Five. Man, people that's the main thing people complain about Street Fighter Five that you couldn't have an individuality in the game. And now they get now
Yeah,
Street Fighter Six is here and said, well, you can do all this stuff. And now everybody just like, well, just a kid say you play jury like this. Punk say you play this character like that. I'm like, so you're just gonna play the way they told you to play. So you still ain't got no individuality.
exactly.
I'm
And then they'll
like,
be like, "You're playing the character wrong, man. Like you're supposed to be doing this."
yeah, you're not optimizing it. Like, dude, I just want to play and have some fun, man. I'm like, I'm not trying to sit here and optimize combos to do all this crazy stuff. I just want to have a little bit of fun with the game. But some people they do they take their word as law. Like the pro players if
Exactly.
the pro player says it, then that's what it is.
Yeah, like pro player could literally like, and you've seen this a couple of times. Like we were like the way the tier list changes. Well, he said that this, which means he might actually be like there, and the pro player said that their skill and scaling might be this high, but no one's experimented with them. I'm like, bro, he just said this after he played like average Joe with 1700 MR. Like that was just his like thoughts at that given moment. Come on, bro. Like pro players are humans, but like they're just like you, bro. They get tilted. They're influenced by what feels good, what doesn't. I wish people would stop trying to be so objective all the time. Like stats don't mean everything.
Yeah.
Like stats don't mean everything. Wins don't mean everything. At the end of the day, balance comes down to what makes a player feel like they have agency. What feels fair for the player. And people will be like, bro, it's based on feelings. Like I said, the tournament stats, the frame data, but it's like they don't care. At the end of the day, does it feel like you were robbed because of Fireball Drive Rush? Like you can try and explain it through frames and all that, but like the frames themselves isn't the important part. The important part is that you just don't feel good about losing, and most people don't feel like it was a fair like loss. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Uh,
I'm trying to think
yeah,
because
go ahead.
I don't really pay attention to tier lists. I'm gonna be honest with you, because like to me,
Same.
it's subjective. Like people ask me where you got a top tier character because you play Jury. I'm like, I've been playing Jury since Street Fighter 4, since she came
Yeah,
out.
character loyalist, man.
I'm like, I played her in Street Fighter 4 and towards the end of Street Fighter 5 when I started liking her a little bit better. Because when Street Fighter 5 first came out, I hated the way they changed her to where she didn't have all her stuff. Street Fighter 6, I was like, okay, I like how they did her. They gave her like some of her Street Fighter 4 stuff. She doesn't have her medium and high fireball, but she doesn't have a teleport, but she's a lot
Yeah,
better than she was in 5. But it's
they
like
did her
I'm just
dirty in
like you
five.
said.
They didn't even give her a CA, like an animation.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Like, but me, I'm just like I said, I'm just a character lawyer. I'm gonna play Jury because that's my favorite character. It's just like when I was
Right.
playing Spark and Zero, I'm like, I'm playing Super Brawly because I like Super Brawly and Vegeta. So those are the characters I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna play a
Super
top tier
Bro.
character. Yeah, Super Broly.
Okay, okay. I'm a
'Kay.
Turles like a Kid Buu guy, but all right.
I know he has some people like Z Brawley better, but me personally, I like more so from the anime itself, basically giving him a better story, a better background than what he had in the original story.
Yeah, generally speaking, anyways, I think I can agree with that.
Which,
Although I will say, like, Super Broly just feels really boring. Like, I get it. Like, Z Broly was pretty one note. He's not as dumb as people think he is, but like Super Broly is just like the stereotype. He's dumb but really strong. But I'm expected to like clap because Dragon Ball Z said that like he has more potential than Goku and Vegeta, which technically Gohan was supposed to fit that role, but whatever.
I think was it Toriyama talked about it. He like when they tried to switch it to Gohan, that's when like people had a problem with it. Like he wasn't really filling the role like he needed to be.
Right,
That's what.
right, right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people looking away from the FGC, but just real quick, I will say a lot of people hate on Gohan because he's not Team Gohan, man. He's not out there grinding. It's like Gohan is a Earthling, bro. Like he's a half Earthling. That man literally is winning more than Goku and Vegeta. He has a wife, a kid. Like she trains depending on which version of the like story you're looking at. Like that man literally won life. Krillin
Mhm.
won life more than Goku did. What are we talking about?
Yeah, he's actually an active father.
Yeah, fighting isn't everything, man. Like what are we doing? I get
I,
we're like in the anime, but just like thinking in verse.
well, I never did. I never disliked Gohan. Like I thought, I just felt like okay, he's not really the same as Goku, but he's still a decent character. And then they kind of just once they brought Goku back, they kind of just threw him away a bit.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of trying to do something with him now. But with the passing of Toriyama, I'm not sure exactly which way Dragon Ball is gonna go.
No, it just felt really lazy. The whole everyone's getting hyped about like beast mode and like I like the voice change, that's pretty cool, but I'm really not a fan of like he transformed the same way he did against Cell, and it's like, all right, bro, I know you're trying to sell me something, relax.
We got to sell you. We
Relax.
got to sell you on a new toy or something.
Yeah, and I'm just like, all right, bro, I get it, you want to sell the $40 dollar action figure, like that's what Sparking Zero was supposed to be for, but whatever. But yeah, going back to the FGC, it's like there's just really little soul feeling like. And you can see that like when the community is like in and of itself, you have to agree with everything. They've been debating over in the Strive community, like Bridget, some like boy that was like in the town. They've been like trying to force change him to be what's it called? Like like one like that girl. That's just not a thing.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh yeah, I remember that when Bridget first came out and Strive, and people were just kind of wasn't they trying to figure out their sexuality, the character, and I'm like, is this really a point that we need to be arguing over?
I mean, somewhat, but like you pull it up and it's just like literally right there. It's like, yeah, that was a boy. You can't have like two boys or something like that in that town in lore. Otherwise, they die or something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he was like, all right, I'll just take one for the team. I'm like, okay, cool. But like these people, they're not even like fans of the nations or like the culture that they consume the media from. Like their only concept of Japan is like Tokyo and not like rural Japan. They don't actually have respect for it. It's kind of disrespectful.
Well, that's because that's
Yeah, it's
pretty
just
much the one that everybody talks about is like Tokyo, pretty much. Every time you see a movie, that's
yeah,
pretty much where they at in Tokyo.
yeah, but it's like I think of it this way. Can you imagine if like every foreigner just only perceived the US as like New York?
I get what you're saying.
Like we do that in the movies, funny enough, but like, bro, uh there's a huge cowboy Japanese scene, like specifically like based off of US Texan culture. And it's really cool. But I like Edo looking Japan, like prior to World War II. All right, maybe not Imperial Japan, maybe a little older, but like that aesthetic looks really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't just assume that like Japanese people are only happy-go-lucky, outrageous commercials, things of that nature. And then like you just lose a lot of the life in it, right?
Yeah. That's probably why they basically started to the point where now they're making rules for foreigners when they come over there. Like, hey,
Hmm.
this is not a gym equipment. When people are like trying to do pull ups on the Tory gates and stuff like that, and just being really disrespectful to
Yeah,
their their culture.
that's disgusting. Like you should be kicked. Like I know like a lot of people, example, like the whole Trump thing and all that, mass deportation, remigration. I'm in support, whatever. But like that goes both ways, by the way. Like if you're an American and I see you on like sacred stairs in Japan, like doing a TikTok, yeah, Japan should definitely deport you, like on the spot. I saw there was a video and like a Japanese local is like joining in that dance. You should probably be arrested. That's just so disrespectful, It's like not everything is for your TikTok, bro. Like that's mad wrong. I saw numerous people complaining. There are a couple places in Japan where it's like the sign on the door just says if you don't speak Japanese, then we're not going to serve you. And it's like, why won't they serve me? It's because this is Japan and they don't have any they're not obliged to sell you something, bro. The check at the end of the day is not like the end all be all.
Yeah, cause I know they have like I even when I was looking at going to Japan, I saw the thing where it says like, hey, there are some parts in Japan where it's Japanese only. There's no foreign. They don't care if you're black, white,
Yeah,
whatever. There's no foreigners there. They just want Japanese people. And I'm like, I'm cool with it. If that's their culture, then I'm just going there to
yeah.
enjoy myself and
This is their house, bro.
abide by their rules since I'm in their country.
Right. It's their house, man. You can't just like walk in there and be like, this is rude. Yeah, but you pay money to come here. So if you don't like it, well, they can just send you back.
hmm I think more so like people feel like, well, I'm an American, so I should be able to do this because I can do it in America.
Right. And there's a part of me that kind of likes that because we're like the world superpower. So yeah, we do get a lot of things. Like people do speak English in other parts of the world, which is just W. That's cool. But at the same time, I'm not gonna expect them to like cater to US sensibilities or Western influence sensibilities. Like you were talking about a long time ago about the Arab states and they don't do the LGBT yada yada
hmm
and everybody's having a fit and it's like yo, what's funny is like all these people too that are like constantly grandstanding and moralizing. These are the same people I lied to. They're just NPCs, but they're the same people that will put like free Palestine, the Palestine flag in their bio. But like they were one of those people that were like, this is such a hurtful area because they don't allow me to wear a rainbow shirt when I'm going to attend this tournament. It's like, bro, shut up and play the game. Like, shut up and play the game.
Oh, yeah, I know that was a whole big thing about that. I didn't really understand it because I'm like, wait a minute, there was a tournament before this one. There was like a $400,000 tournament that was over in overseas in Saudi Arabia and stuff, and nobody had a problem with it. So why all of a sudden now is it a problem?
It's just like they don't owe you anything. Like, look, I'm a very patriotic guy, and I'm not very political, but I don't have a problem with certain colonization. But we're not going to colonize the Middle East by making them accept people with radical, crazy hair colors simply because they want to play, um, simply because they want to play Manon or something like that. Like that's ridiculous.
I think who the was it Sonify? I think he was the main one complaining about it that he can't go over there. And I'm like, well, you probably could go over there and play. You just have to basically control yourself while you're over there. Like you
Yeah,
can't
it's
really
called.
be like public displays of affection and all that stuff. Like it ain't the same over there.
Eh, honestly, it'll sound quote unquote rude, but like really, it just checks out to just are you a normal person? Like you just pass the sniff test, and he doesn't, obviously. Um, he hasn't passed the sniff test in like a while. I know everyone will like maybe I don't know, maybe people will say like it's rude or whatever. I'm fairly much more confrontational and like just calling it out as it really was. But like the Skullgirls scene, I love Skullgirls. It's like top five favorite fighting games, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
saying something because I hate Marvel. Which is a cardinal sin, I get it, but I don't like Marvel. I love Skullgirls. And then everyone's like looking up to Sonic Fox. He wins that one award over Tokido, which is crazy, but whatever. And he takes the time to just grant, like, mind you, there are Japanese players, there are players from all over the world, and he's just sitting here talking about American politics, demonizing half of the nation. Like, that's crazy. Like, what does that have to do with people think that you're a really good fighting game player, right?
Yeah. More so, it gives him more, more followers and stuff on X or Twitter, as they call it. Well, X now.
I mean, I don't
You
respect
kind
the
of.
old pronouns. I'm going by Twitter, but it's like, but no, I'm joking. But go ahead, bro.
But it's kind of one of those things where you like when I look at the LGC, I'm like, well, a lot of y'all love grandstanding in this scene, and I'm like, some of y'all are doing some stuff, some weird stuff behind the scenes, but y'all are sit here
Yeah,
and
like
have
you.
all these grand epiphanies about how you don't like this and you support that, and I'm like, bro, how long was Mr. Wizard just doing his thing, and then you listen to play like, oh yeah, we knew about it, and I'm
Oh yeah,
like,
we knew, but it's fun. Like people like Mr. Wizard, Nero, Captain Zack, the Smash, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
these things are allowed to happen. And then if you ever said something like, yo, they literally have been doing this, they even apologized in the Discord message. It's pretty we should look into this. And then they're just like, yeah, or you're hateful because you get the wrong politics. I saw you with a MAGA hat, which means that I know that guy might have groomed a minor, but you have a MAGA hat, so at the end of the day, you're wrong. That's legitimately how they operate, mind you.
yeah.
Uh
I knew that when James Chin was like, yeah, I kind of heard rumors about it, but I'm like, so you heard rumors about it, and you basically decided to stay quiet about it, and then even try to
yeah,
confirm, and it's just one other thing. I'm like, so y'all, as long as they doing something for y'all, y'all cool with just keeping their secrets.
yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, bro, that's what I mean. That's what I was talking about. As long as they get their check and they're not getting blown up on Twitter, they really don't care. They really don't care. It's sad because a lot of people, like I said, they will be the moral, grandstanding people. You like just zoom in, just scratch a little bit off the paint. It's very surface level. It's why they constantly flip flop on ideas. People constantly ask in FGC or gaming in general, and now in real life, like why are they doing this? Weren't they just like they would make fun of people for having contradictory views, and only a very small few of them will admit they were wrong because it's easier to double down, right? Like on the mask
Mm-hmm.
thing, for instance, it's easier to double down than to just admit, yeah, you were wrong. My bad, bro. Uh, and then they wonder like, no, they're actually not really loyal at all. They'll sell you out. There's a reason why their side of the FGC or the community or whatever have you constantly known for just turning on each other, like no loyalty whatsoever. Not loyalty as in like we'll defend whatever thing you do, but just like, nah, this is we know this to be wrong. We know this to be right. You know what I mean? Like it's just a political ideal. Like they're just wearing FGC or whatever your entertainment or hobby of choice, they'll just wear your hobby or community as a suit, as a means to like just like push their own political agenda.
Do you think that's the biggest problem that's happened in the scene, that it's gotten so immersed into politics?
I think I would say it's like maybe like 60%. The other like 40 probably being for like the whole competitive, like relax, bro, kind of mentality. Like I said, like the soul, they go hand in hand too. Like they really don't have a soul. Like they do, don't get me wrong, but like you can tell they care more about is can they say that Bridget's a girl more than like the game mechanics, the what works in the game. They care more about that than the other.
I think it's
For
more
them,
so. I think it's more so people who don't even play the game just want to have that character be that because they want it that way.
yeah, they just want to be their character so bad too. Like they can't, like example, they want to see representation, man, and it's like, what are you talking about, dog? I just want to play that character. The character's cool. Like I'm not playing Manon because this is my truth. I've always wanted to be a female. It's like, no, Manon is just cool. Like she's just a better Abel, which is once again sacrilegious to say because everyone loves Abel, but I don't know. I just like the way Manon does it better.
I know a lot of people been wanting him to come in, and I'm like, well, what's the point of him coming in? Like she pretty much fills that spot where he would be.
Exactly, like to the point of having like the same fighting style. Manon practices judoka, which is just offset judo, and then like item or not item, Abel literally does do judo. So like, what are you talking about? You wouldn't like it's over. I'm sorry, it's over. Abel's a really cool character. I love him in story, but like expecting expecting like him to show up when Manon is right there doing the same exact thing, slim to none.
Mm, I, now I think their biggest problem is when they coming out with their characters. I don't think they really know what characters they really want to bring into the game. I think that's why they only bringing out like 4 characters at a time.
Um, hmm.
'Cause it feels like they want to do new characters, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah, I do want to see some new. I actually want to see more like legacy characters. But I do also really want to see some new faces. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this game did come out with a good bit of new characters. I think people forget that, but I don't know. It's like the I still want to see. A lot of people are asking for characters like Sean. I heavily disagree, but I do want to see like Sakura. Can we maybe get a Buki? I know Kimberly's supposed to fill that role, but it's not quite the same, and their moveset's different enough to where like they can like pull it off. Uh,
I'm gonna be put. I say it every time. I want to see Sagat back.
yeah, like I think it's kind of interesting because a lot of people constantly like are scared about Street Fighter 2 characters making the cut. I'm always like white pilled. Yeah, guys, I believe that insert Street Fighter 2 character will make the game. It's Street Fighter 2. How could they not make the game? Like, it took a while for what's his name, Honda to get in, which is crazy to me. But like, he still is in the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether they should be in the game at launch, debatable. Street Fighter 6, like I said, you gotta like bring in new blood, right? All the
Yeah.
characters are like at least like in their 30s, like mid 30s.
Yeah, but only reason I would say Sagat because we really don't have any zoners outside of Guile, and I'm trying to think who else would
JP,
you? Yeah,
Guile,
JP and Guile. And it's like you don't
Dawson.
really. Yeah, I guess you would consider him a zoner too, even though you don't really see him that much though.
Well, yeah, that's because like he's just an awkward character.
Like
A lot of people aren't gonna want to play him.
as soon as JP got nerfed, he pretty much went to the bargain bin.
Yeah, which is really crazy and also telling. Uh, a lot of people just have this concept of like, oh, look, my character got nerfed, so I'm leaving. It's like, okay, so you weren't even really a fan of the character. You don't like the character. You just like what the character's providing. Like on a literal utilitarian, like they made me win the game, so I like character. It's
Uh,
very surface level.
and it's just like the pro. If the pro player, hey, oh, they nerfed my character. Well, I'm just gonna move over to this character and start playing.
Yeah, it's like whining. Fighting games effectively nowadays and just balancing it just kind of dictates to we're the legion of this character and we're gonna whine, and as long as we're whining and the squeaky wheel gets to grease, as long as we whine more than them, our character won't get nerfed, but their character will get nerfed, and maybe our character can get buffed. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
that
I
doesn't like actually translate to a good game either. Like whatever like the mass people think, in reality it's just like I said, what the average player will just feels general, like what feels just uh all the
like,
Ken down players,
yeah. And I like I love how people just basically push Jury like she's like the best player. She's the best character in the game. And I'm like, she's okay. She has problems here and here, but she's still a decent. She's a mid tier character. I'm like,
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's great.
I put her
I'm a jury guy.
I would put her as a solid mid tier character. But it's like you have to put the time into her to really like learn like feng shui and all that stuff to really tap the full potential of the character.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's perception of strength in fighting games is legit based on what gives you the most results in the shortest amount of time. So people will look at you and be like, "Who's the best character ever? This character does 80. Look at this 80% damage in combo. He's sick. Look at this fireball." And it's like, yeah, but like if you ever try playing him and you like make the wrong move and you just die right then and there, especially in the game like Street Fighter 6 where everything's already volatile, it's really difficult to play that character. And people will say it's a cope or whatever. It's like it's such a Shoto, but if I say he was just a Shoto with his normals, people will have like a panic attack. So tomato tomato. But like you look at a character who I would think is really strong, Jury, Chun Li. I've been saying this since like launch. And people even did say that Jury was like top 7 until like insert other characters came out because the whole like drive rush meta was much more pronounced when the game first came out. But I'm looking at Jury and I'm like, no, she's still an amazing character. Look at her normals. Look at Chun Li's normals. But because you don't get the instant like 40-50% damage combo, supposedly they're like a worse character. Like I'd rather fight, for instance, it sounds wrong, but I'd rather fight like Bison before I fight like Jury or Chun Li.
And I look at the fact that when what's his name Uma won, he won Capcom Cup the first time, and then all of a sudden you just seen this flood of people just run into Jury, and I'm like, I give it about a month, and I was correct. After about a month, all of a sudden you just started seeing Jury's numbers go back down to normal because people picked
Oh
her
yeah,
up, they played her, they see that she's not just
yeah, yeah.
she doesn't do this super amount of damage. Like you really got to work for that damage.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I'm not gonna salt and say no, she doesn't. Yeah, yeah, she does. But it's legit. Like I said, it's just the masses, bro. Common denominator, and it's not even like disparaging, right? Like most people, it'll sound harsh and rude, but it's true. Most people are kind of like NPCs, man. They don't care as much as you do, and like about certain things. Like some people do not want to play and learn feng shui combos. They know the character's really good because they saw Uma 1, but then they like figure out, well, you have to do this, that, and like, I'm just gonna stick with Ken. Like Jury could very well be a better character than Ken, and they still would just stick with Ken because Ken is easier to play. That's fine. That's okay. Like not every character should be played simply because they're the best or perceived as a higher like skill ceiling. That's just ridiculous. Most people are not that good in the games they play. In any given video game that's competitive, like what a majority of the player base is like silver, not gold.
I think it was they when they showed the chart, the majority of the player base was in platinum.
Oh, yeah. In this, I was talking about general games, but yeah, in this game it's like plat. So everyone constantly trying to make all these balance changes and all these like I got the best point of all time. It's like, or like when they'll like say like Honda is a terrible character, and then I don't know, man, like that headbutt does a full thing on block meter. Heavy punch is like ridiculously under sold. Like that is a good move, and you can't punish him on headbutt either. And he forces you into many guesses. I think Honda's pretty all right. I think the game itself, a lot of people have a problem with like the game mechanics, but the game itself is just the volatile part. I
Yep.
think a lot of people's problems come from the game mechanics, which a lot of people will then take it once again surface level. Well, it's drive rush. Drive rush is the problem. They take out drive rush, it would be a better game, which is just dumb because the whole game is based off of this mechanic. So you
Mm.
would just be playing an even worse Street Fighter 5 if you did that, number one. Number two, uh, if you were to take out perfect parry, it's the scrub mechanic. People that can't defend. Well, yeah, but like the game is so offensive, they probably had that in mind. So you can't just well, it's always my turn because I'm plus. I got Cammy. I threw you in the corner. I get my free heavy punch every single time. No, it's not fun either. Like there has to be some level of like player RNG. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, there has to be some. There has
matchups
to be some
matter.
defensive options.
Yeah, and Street Fighter too. So like Street Fighter is like one of my favorite things about Street Fighter is that they do such a typically a good balancing, if not more than other games, of offense and defense. Like you got other defensive mechanics like Mortal Kombat have a little combo breaker, which came from KI. You get I can't think of other ones off the top of my head. Other games might give you like a DP. Marvel's Capcom games just kind of say if you don't have meter, you're on your own, you die. But Street Fighter has always had ultras. Like it's okay to have a comeback mechanic, bro, or just a defensive mechanic that forces you to not just always take your turn. I know a lot of people hate it. Ramsar, for instance, I was talking about earlier, he absolutely hates perfect parry or tap parry. I'm not the biggest fan of the parry system, but it's just like before we talk about taking this mechanic out, can we at least address that the game is a little too offensive based? Like if you just took out perfect parry, now everyone is constantly forced into like drive gauge eating neutral, which means everyone's just going to be in burnout. You die. It's not like drive reversal isn't real, so you
Mm.
press drive reversal and you can like jab and react to it. You'll die.
N-
So before we just take out the parry, can we like address that first?
'Cause I know I've seen some people that said basically they should take it back to where Street Fighter Five was it, where your drive meter is basically your super meter now. So when you do critical arts and stuff, that's basically dependent on your drive meter. And I'm like, I hated that in Street Fighter Five because a lot of times it made
Yeah.
no sense for my EX meter and my super meter to be the exact same thing. So it's like sometimes when
hmm
I need a super, I can't because I used the bar to do an EX move earlier and I'm waiting on it to recover. And they've shown like the game, like if you took Street Fighter 6, a guy he modded it so basically the drive rush was the screen freeze when it does it. He took it out and he said, okay, here you go, here's Street Fighter without the screen freeze. And the drive rush is damn near unreactable because it
Yeah.
because it happens so
I,
fast.
I remember. I didn't see that one. Maybe I had. It was like a long time ago. But everyone constantly going, man, they need to take out the screen freeze. I hate the screen freeze. It messes with my inputs. Okay, maybe they could do like fix up the input, but to say that the screen freeze shouldn't exist or should be reduced, are you crazy? Like, bro, I get it. You're salty, but the human reaction time, you're never gonna react to dry. Like, you can barely do. A lot of people can barely do it with the screen freeze. People just kind of assume as if like that's what I mean. Like stats, they only care about frame data or stats, or they'll look at Punk react, and all of a sudden they can do that. Like, no, you can't. Just because he did a whiff punish into CA doesn't mean that you can do. I once saw Tokido in Street Fighter League. I once seen him play Luke, and I think either the other Luke or no, it was Sagat. He did sweep in neutral, and Tokido walked forward and did a DP and punished it. No one has that reaction time on average, man. You can't base games off of that.
But
Like,
that's my biggest problem, the way they're trying to balance it. And well, the way the pros are getting mad about the game being balanced. Because it seems more like Capcom is trying to balance it not only for the pro player, but also for the casual player.
yeah,
Cause I look at it and people complain, I'm like, bro, do you know the reason you got that $1 million prize at Capcom Cup? Because of the casuals buying all those little passes and all that stuff for the characters and stuff like that. While y'all people complain about the costumes, but I'm like, the casual fan buying all that extra stuff in the store is why you got that $1 million. I'm so
exactly. if you just hear me for a moment, just extrapolate that a little bit, because this is just generally my other field is like political. It's like the politicians constantly making fun of the 9 to 5ers. It's like you do realize they fund you. Like the reason you are able to tell people what to do or have this level, or like even not politicians, like just look at like entertainment, right? Like just insert actor here, streamers, musicians. Like the only reason you can make money doing what you do is because everyone else kind of like supports the economy around you. Like it might sound really nice that you can sing really well or act really well, but you're not literally producing anything. You know what I mean? And you get that in the FGC where all the pro players and streamers have inflated egos. Not all of them, but a lot of them have inflated egos. They assume that like the FGC is nothing without them, and they just don't have a concept that like, or they'll get upset that majority of Street Fighter 6 player base is in the battle hub, if not world tour mode. Most people don't play ranked.
But
That's
that,
okay.
but that's the thing that drives me crazy though. I'm like the whole time in Street Fighter Five, the main complaint I heard from players is that we need to do something to get the casuals in and keep them. Street Fighter 6 drops. They have something for the casuals that actually keeps them in the game, and people are still complaining about it.
Oh
now
yeah,
they
well, people always find
now they
something to complain
complaining.
about.
Now they complaining. Oh, there's not enough people in ranked. I'm like, you can't have it both ways, man.
I will say you do start to fight the same people in rank. It's kind of that's like how I'm like actually in tune with the Street Fighter 6 kind of community a little bit. Like I said, I don't really participate too much like in the competitive scene. So like I fight on ranked, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I know C Town, or I know Nilo, Ramsar. I know numerous players. If at the very least, I play them fairly frequently. So
Cause I say,
I'm
cause
just
you're
like,
in master rank, aren't you?
yeah. I'm currently 1900 MR with Manon, and my highest with Akuma was 1800 MR.
Like, it's the stuff I wanted to ask about in that range.
Oh sure. I
'Cause-
always joke, 'cause I'm an Xbox player. I'm the item of Xbox, or like the number one. If item is the best PC and just general best Manon, then Joey FGC, he's cool guy. He's best PlayStation Manon. And am I shooting at 2K 2100 MR? Well, no, but I'm still the best Xbox Manon, you know?
All right, good. But that's the thing though. When the master ranks, I'm like, I kind of look at the numbers and I'm like, oh, that's the top 1% of players. I'm like, okay, well, I understand why they fight each other. They run into the same players over and over again because there's only like 1% of them, and like the other 99% are like down in diamond and platinum and gold and everything else.
Yeah,
So
it's like less than 3% of players make it to master. And even once you get to master, a majority of those people will never like really see past like 1650 or 700 MR. So like if you go to 700 1700 MR and above, that's where you will start to fight the same people.
so how do you feel about the changes that's coming this month?
Um, I am very optimistic. I'm wondering what they're doing. I've been saying this since a little after the game came. Well, maybe like a few months after the game came out, that we should get more ranks. Uh, Coming from Street Fighter 4, where you just get like a little letter, and then Street Fighter 5. Like I love Street Fighter Five's ranking system. At the very least, maybe it's because I'm a little bit like, look at the shiny new title, but at the same time, it does like mean something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a super diamond, you're stuck at specifically super diamond, not diamond. Or there's a reason why you're not ultimate grandmaster, but you're still grandmaster, right?
Yeah.
And I know you can't base fully someone's skill based off their rank. Say Knuckle do, his daughter plays on that account. But at the same time, it is a pretty good indicator of where that player is, at the very least consistently. Like if I seen you at 1700 MR and you're like, yeah, but I was at 1770, but they kept cheating me, and I dipped as low as 1600 because they gave me like low opponents. Okay, yeah, but you're consistently at 1700 somewhere, so you're not a 1900 player. You can take games because Street Fighter 6 and you might also be like decent, but like consistently you're a 1700 player. I think the titles are pretty good. High Master, a lot of memes. It's really cringy. I'm not like a Wii guy, but there's High Master. There's what Grandmaster, I
Yeah.
believe,
And then I
and
think it
then
was
there's
Ultimate
Ultimate.
Grandmaster. It's like
Nah,
that.
it's just Ultimate Master. They shortened it.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently Street Fighter 6 was like, look, it's a mouthful. They're not gonna like put that and like somebody's gonna create a whole new title for it, I guess.
I think they should have
But
just said just kept masters the way it was, just regular masters. Then you got grandmaster and then ultimate master instead of just high master.
I mean, I don't know. I guess High Master. Because nobody knows the MR distribution of that, so I'm thinking High Master, in my opinion, would be something like maybe like every 200 MR you rank up. I don't know. It could be lower. It could be higher.
I'm
But like
thinking
if you're a
that
High
high.
Master,
I'm thinking high master is going to be 15, like the starting point 1500. So it's basically just like regular master. They just change the title, and then
but
I'm
at that
think
point, when you just spawn into High Master with Master, because I don't think that's particularly high. I think most people like the thing, like one of the problems and complaints with Master is it doesn't say anything about the player because anyone can really reach Master for the most part if they just kind of put in the time and effort. And you can like see this because of like there are more people below 1500 than there are above it. Like you can kind of see that they got Master because they took the time to do so. They might have sniped like a younger Master or like a lower Master here and there, but it feels more of like a timing commitment than like their actual skill.
yeah, because I've seen where you can reach master rank, you can have like a pretty much like a 40% win rate and still get the master.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, but and it kind of like it dilutes the title. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you were to tell someone you're a master in this game, and then you look at it and you look at their win ratio, it's like 40%. It's like, oh, so what does it mean? Oh, well, those guys are tryhards. They're like the 1900 pluses, and their win ratio, like my win ratio, I believe last time I checked was like 63%, and that net me like 1900 MR. I looked at like some of the pros. No one really will reach, depending on how they're playing the game. Like some people will only play rank, some people will play customs or whatever. Um, no one really reaches above like 70. At least off the top of my head, I don't think they're doing it. Like you have to win 7 out of 10 games consistently, like 80%. I don't think people are consistently getting 80%.
And
So go ahead.
I was about to say, should they increase like the point value and stuff? Because I know a lot of masters are like, well, it doesn't make any sense. I'm playing all this time. I get like 100 MR or I get 150. I lose one match and now I basically lost all that plus more.
Mm, I don't know because there's a novelty. There is a positive reason as to why, say, I would be like a 17. If I'm a 1600 player and I'm fighting a Diamond 3, people will go, why am I fighting this guy? Well, because A, you get more opponents to fight instead of running to the same Joes. And then B, this is also like a teaching moment, right? Fighting games, like I said, merit based, very like it's like the fighting games feel super shonen. It's like you see some guy higher than you, you're like, oh, that guy's on another level. I wonder if I can achieve his level one day. You don't see how much MR that master has when you're Diamond 3, but there is a good shot, at least ideally, that he like beats you or you just barely got the win, so you know what to expect. When I play ranked, I occasionally fight some of the 2K MRs or like literal. I fought Punk. I ran the Punk. I ran the Knuckle Dude. That was awful as I'm a non-player. Um, I ran into what Joey, Idom, Ramsar. I ran into like numerous people. Uh, and I even beat like a couple of them in a set. Like I beat Punk's Akuma, which is funny because everyone says that Akuma's the best character, and I'm like, well, I'd rather fight his Akuma than his Kami. I know people say that's because of the character, like he's just more comfortable, but that's just a neutral thing. But regardless, it's like You fight someone that high, take the pro player out of it. You fight someone in 2K MR. Yeah, you'll feel that 2K MR typically, right? Like if you're a
Mm-hmm.
1700 player and you just see at the other side of the screen 2K MR, you know you have to be on your toes. It's about consistency at that point. I
Yep.
think if I had to explain it to someone that are constantly wondering about the ranks or the higher level plays, you said you didn't reach master yet. You can definitely do it.
I know.
I think
I started my march to masters last weekend. Well, not last week. Excuse me. Last Saturday. Because that's like the
okay.
first time I jumped back on the rank in a good while.
Yeah, and how are you like? Where you are now?
Probably 2 more matches. I'll be Diamond 3.
Okay. See, it's like I think master to anyone higher up feels like a time thing, and then 1600s is where you start to get a little bit more principled. Like, okay, I'm not gonna jump every like several seconds in the match because you'll just get anti-aired. 1700, I think, is where you start fighting people that are like, by my standards, good. Like the guys that won't constantly give in to their habits of just jumping,
Yeah.
throwing out wake up level 3, which I do that because you got like there's a catch 22 at high MRs. Like they don't tell you this because people are very like they're very above thou kind of mentality. But example, I caught Punk with like a wake up level 3 or in the middle of his flight. Like I'm going to do that because most pro players think it's dumb. Why would you ever do that? Just hold the pressure. Nah, eventually some of your stupid tactics will come to work. It's like everyone assumes that I have to know how to whiff punish. Yeah, you do. It's mostly just remaining consistent, I would like to say. 1700 and higher, it's just about consistency. There's some knowledge checks, but once you hit like 1800 or 1900, there is like some level of tomfoolery that you can get away with. I think again, like to like if you're a shonen guy, it's like Naruto. Naruto's not the best with taijutsu, at least outside of Sage Mode, but there's a reason he won by just doing certain like cheese moves, right? Like he can still catch Sasuke or even Kaguya off guard with
Hmm.
just a random YOLO move that no other person would do at that level of fight.
That's always been my biggest problem. Is that I look at somebody's rank, okay, this person's a master, this person's like diamond 4 or 5. He's not gonna play like this. And then they do
Hmm.
something just just completely just out of the blue. You're like, why would he do that?
Yeah, yeah, you can learn something from every rank too. Like there's this one guy I follow, Japanese Manon. Uh, I'm going to assume he doesn't hit past 1700 by like the clips I see him playing in ranked, but he does have some really nice setups. And if I'm an 18, 1900 player, I might think I'm pretty good, but like that doesn't mean, well, that guy's a 1600 Manon. I can't learn anything from him. Yes, you can. You can learn something from every rank. Like they might just be doing something. This is where you get the whole you're playing the character wrong mentality. Like you can think that, but there's a reason why they do it. Maybe it's not optimal, but it's good to just know that in the back of your mind. Like, okay, I could technically probably catch someone off guard because this is dumb. Like, does I think since I play Menard, it's a good example. Back heavy punch into twirl is negative, and in the middle of a combo fight, you do medium punch, drive rush, medium punch, back heavy punch, into twirl, hit grab. If you don't do the hit grab and just cancel it, you're definitely negative and you will likely get jabbed mashed on, let alone a throw. Well, you'll get throwed out of whatever button you press from that, I think, but you will definitely get jabbed out of it nine times out of 10. The only reason people don't jab is because they just constantly expect
The
the
command
twirl to
grab.
follow through. No, they like it's not a command. Like they just expect like after back heavy punch, they know Manon gets the twirl grab. But like, okay, if you know that to be the case, then I'll just do twirl and I'll just get a free command grab. I'll cancel it and I'll just get a command grab because you're just holding down back. Like that's what I mean. Like grapplers know this seemingly more than anyone. Like the whole concept of I'm not gonna finish this combo because they're probably just holding down back. Every player in every fighting game is just holding down back every time they get hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can just take advantage of the player's mentality, or like you're fighting against a grappler, everyone's holding up. If Geef presses a button and starts hitting you, they're holding up. There's a reason why Geef's kind of like buffer jump Siberian Express. And it's like they know you're holding up. So, you got to play like that. You know what I mean? It's just about knowing your opponent. It's not about, yes, frame data can help you. But I think fighting games, at the end of the day, what really makes it good is the human aspect. Like the human, like thought process, the connection, the fact that you know that you shouldn't really do that, but you're going to do it anyways because it might catch him off guard. Like, I know this is his turn, but I'm probably just gonna wake up EXDP just because it's dumb. Like dumb things work.
I know I've done it sometimes. Just do it, just random, just super critical art or something. And I've had what's it? His name was Joel, and I played him, and we played in tournament. And I talked to him afterward. I was like, well, he like, hey, do you have any tips for me or whatever? Because he beat me like 2-0. And he like, yeah, EXDP more. And I'm like,
Hmm.
cause he's like, I had you in the corner, and I was basically pressing buttons, and I wasn't afraid to do it because you hadn't EXDP'd all match, so I wasn't scared. It's like you have to kind of put that thought into the person's head that, hey, I will do this.
Yeah, it's literally conditioning, which is I think a lot of reasons why people hate first to two formats because you don't get much to condition with, and then like it's a very volatile game. So you kind of like go in with a prescribed game plan instead of learning your opponent. I
Yeah,
can see the problem with that. I still disagree with the whole it should be first to three, but whatever. It's like people just go, well, bro, this is ridiculous. I have to hold the pressure. Or you can just wake up level three, wake up level one, EXDP, perfect parry. Like people hate it, but you can just wake up perfect parry. If you know the player and the character, well, I know Ryu likes to do crouching medium kick Hashogeki. Okay, why don't you just buffer drive impact or perfect parry on the Hashogeki? Because you know he's gonna do it. You're gonna beat the option. And worst case scenario with parry is uh general typical worst case scenario is that nothing happens. You just get your meter back. You're back at zero. You're a little less on the block or whatever, but you're still good, right?
yeah.
Worst case scenario, they just throw you.
Yeah. I'm starting to understand it on that level too. Like a lot of times, because one of the guys when I was streaming, he texted me like, "Hey, why did you just take that throw when you was in the corner?" I'm like, Bison already got the bomb on me. It's better for me to take the throw than to basically try to press a button and then I get hit and then he does like forty
You
percent
die.
damage.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
like,
I'll just
bro,
take the throw. I
it's like,
got
bro, I saw you take three throws in a row. Why did you keep taking the throw? And it's like the one time you take the throw and Akuma or Ken or like Bison just walked back casually. And now you have instead of taking say three throws, so that's like what 10 or like 30% or whatever. Instead of taking those three throws, now you have to eat like 40 plus at the very least because a punish counter and you just die. You were better off just taking the throws.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm starting to learn it more on a higher level. Even though I still, like you said, I still kind of throw some random stuff out there just to see if it, like, just hey, let's just see if it works. If it don't,
Yeah.
I'm no better off.
Every now and then you just gotta like go for the I wonder if this will work. Or like, like, there's like a certain like X factor of like everyone has the thing that they're known for. Item is really good with neutral punks reactions. Sakanoko, for instance, is really good with like consistency and combos. Or you can even extrapolate that to like certain regions. Japan is really good at being consistent of their combos. And I've learned this like since Street Fighter 4. It's like, oh yeah, the Asians are very like specific on their combos. They know the most optimal thing to do. it almost comes off as a little robotic and sometimes, but like they're gonna hit you and they knew what button to press. But if you fight like a North American player, then it's super emotional based. You're like always unsure as if there's like a wake up DP or like a wake up ultra behind like what they were doing. Or if you drop your combo, is there a wake up ultra or whatever? It's very, like there's different styles. I think that also, in addition to like the characters themselves, was really what like gives the game depth, just that uniqueness.
Mm, I don't know, cause with the Japan play, it just seems more like people kind of idolize Japan because they're so consistent.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like what I mean by consistent, I like they don't. They typically opt to, at least back in Street Fighter 4 days. It could change a little bit more, but Street Fighter 4 days, like I said, they didn't drop their combos. They're not really going for resets as much as they are going for like a vortex, which is different. So they're just seen as very consistent, and it just checks out. And like many fighting or not fighting, many game genres, you can look at the top of the leaderboard and you just know that there's a good portion of Asian players up there, and they're very consistent. Like you look at North American players, and if they can be consistent too, right? We got this,
Hmm.
but at the same time, there's like sometimes a level of randomness. Like it's hard to explain, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the Daigo Uma Shoryu like in neutral, which seemingly makes no sense. But it's just random enough to keep someone on their toes. Like maybe I don't want to press that button because they might just randomly DI, or they might just randomly Shoryu or whatever have you. And if you can put your foot in the door of I'm in the corner, but I hit him with a wake up level 3 that one time, if you can put your foot in the crack of that door, then you could do something like I'm playing Manon. He might think I'm gonna wake up level 1, which means I can wake up command grab because he's only gonna walk back a certain distance. And there you go. You get like certain like opportunities open up, right?
Hmm. That's why I kind of like the fact that you have like different kind of play styles depending on what region you're coming from. Like
Yeah, yeah, it
it
really
kind of
makes
makes it makes the game interesting instead of just everybody just plays the exact same way no matter where you go.
yeah, exactly. There's the diversity and strength talk right there. Like everyone's different. You like play because their perception of the game is just different, right? Like they will see it differently than you do, even within the same country, right? Like you like
Hmm.
talk to like someone from New York, and then like talk to someone from like California, talk to someone from like Texas. They're gonna have the same general, but like they'll still be different, right? Like
Hmm.
I think it's really nice that we like acknowledge the differences and like play styles just on a player and a thought process basis, which is like I said, where you start to get the disagreements in the fights of you're not playing this character right, or they must be doing. Well, I looked up the video and Punk said that this is the most optimal, or like Akuma. Akuma's like the biggest example. Everyone on Twitter was looking for that 70 something combo with Akuma punish counter. What are the chances that you're going to need to know how to expend every bar and meter? You typically have already dealt enough damage to where more often than not, heavy punch, drive rush, heavy punch, whatever will get the kill. I don't do that one specifically, but like you don't need to know the most optimal thing with your character. At least you shouldn't be looking for every single time. You should just be doing at best really what works for you, what's consistent for you. It's good to know the most optimal thing, but like you shouldn't be tunnel vision on looking for that button, that punish counter so you can get the punish like Twitter combo. That's not that. Like you're not looking for a Twitter clip.
Yeah,
You should be looking for what you can do.
that's what most players are looking for now. They're looking for that Twitter clip to kind of just throw up there and kind of just show off like, look what I
Yeah,
did. And I've
it's
played
like
against players who try to do like those super extreme combos, and I'm like, 'cause I played against another jury, and I knew the combo he's trying to do, and I'm like, well, you don't really have to do that combo. Like
yeah, and then they
he
drop
could
it.
have beat me, and he dropped it, and I killed him with a level 3. And I'm like,
Exactly.
if you just would have did a regular combo, you would have won.
If you did the regular combo, you would have won, but now you got to hold the cutscene. I'm sorry, bro. I'll make the rules. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. I'm sorry. And like people will try to like berate you too. I think that's like the funny part, like where you can get FGC like high like up like higher than thou mentality of, well, you didn't do this combo, that like you're not good at the game. It's like, bro, who did it say won at the end of the match? Like, what are you talking about? You didn't do the Akuma 63%. You didn't do the Marissa like 60. Yeah, but I won. Like, didn't I? Like, did I not win? Like, do you think if someone wins Evo, you think they're just like, he's not good. He did crouching medium kick into medium to heavy, then drove rush and did it again. Okay, yeah, but he like won $1 million. So we gonna do like shout into the ether.
It was kind of like that with KO West when it first year at Evo, and the guy used like he clutched it out with an auto combo at the end, and people would kind of just get mad about it. I'm like, well, if they didn't want him to use it, they shouldn't have put it in the game.
I mean, real. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like auto combos, I agree. It's like, bro, like Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Like if an auto combo is gonna win you, like say he like whiffs horribly, and he only has like 10% health, the auto combo will kill. You think you're gonna like make up a combo and do all this, like when you can just mash X on your controller? Like, no. Money is on the line. I'm not here for cool points. No, don't get me wrong. There's some soul to it. Like, if I was in Evo Grand Stage and they whiff DP in front of me and they have 5% health, I'm gonna do Rage and Demon because it looks really cool and that'd be hype. But I'm not gonna go for like if they have like 40% health, I'm not gonna go for the frame one perfect link. No, bro, just do the basic, collect the bag, just collect the bag.
Do you
Know
think?
when to fold them, know when to hold them. You know?
Do you think they kind of the community's kind of in a bad spot right now because everybody's trying to basically show off on everybody? Like
Oh yeah, I think
I'm in tournament, I'm winning. Oh, I can beat you, but I don't want to beat you. I want to just stun on you.
um I've been saying that for like before, if not just around Street Fighter 5, that the community has a huge problem with wanting to flex on people or just wanting to downplay someone's skill because they're not doing the most optimal or they're not looking for the best. Like when people, another offensive thing other than like not knowing like the game you're playing, like on a soul level, like I don't care that you know every frame data button for your character. Do you even know your character's name or why they're fighting in the first place? No. Okay, so you're not really a fan. You just want to play this game. You just want to play like at that very surface level. This is this is why I play it for the buttons. It doesn't feel as soulful. You know what I mean? Like you're just trying to like get a bag out of the game that I play for fun. That's not even just fighting games. You get that in every genre. It's like the soulless, and you know it when you see it. The people that hop on the fighting game and their first questions pretty much dictates to who's the best character or who's the best rush down or who has like a good fireball. And it's like, okay, so you don't care. You really don't care. Like you just want the best tool. And then you'll be surprised or you'll think that you're like actually enjoying the game when you may or may not, it might may or may not work out. It's like I don't play that at all, but like the people that play 2K and they just spend their time looking up the best build to the height difference, etc. Like kind of autistically, like the Madden players that look up the best plays. This is the best playbook, so I might be playing the Ravens or the Colts, but this is the best playbook, so I'm going to run with this one. It's like that's not even them. Fight like Sparking Zero. It just like Call of Duty kind of relegates like the same four guns in the meta every time.
Mm,
And it's like that's not fun, right? Like that's not fun. Call of Duty has like over 40 guns in any given game, but you only see like seven of them. Civilization has over like 30 civilizations and like leaders, but you only see in like top meta, like whatever perceived like top five is. Sparking Zero, Suffix One. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
that's not fun. It will kill your game. And like I said, you have to appeal to the casual base to some degree, not to the point where like modern controls are a thing. I think that's very antithetical to what a fighting game is. Like fighting games are merit based, and it is based off your own understanding of the game. it encourages you more than any other gaming genre off the top of my head to improve. Uh, and like learn like all the tools are there. Like Street Fighter 6 has like one of the best training modes ever. I don't even use it, but I can acknowledge it's like one of the best ones ever. And they're even like the new balances, like the new changes. I know everyone's upset about their costumes, but yo, can we like get a little hype that we get like a replay match at the end of a set?
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty cool, right?
yeah.
Like
Replay
a lot of
takeover.
people, yeah, replay takeover is really cool. That was a thing I thought of. Like, man, it'd be really cool if you could do something like that. I never thought they would actually be like doing something like that. That's crazy.
Co-
Um, the content is really nice. I think a lot of people rag on costume for it, myself included, because like Street Fighter Five had a ton of costumes. But funny enough, Street Fighter Five had a ton of costumes because that game kind of sucked, and costumes, by their own admission, was what kept that game like a
Yeah, kept it
profit, like
afloat.
made it a profitable game.
Because
So
basically,
yeah,
because MK is kind of going through that whole situation now with like their pricing and just their DLCs not being exactly what people thought they were going to be.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, my critique on MK is just that like Mortal Kombat is just not that interesting. Like I'm sorry, but it's not that interesting, bro. Outside of the fatalities, which you're not even allowed to do if your game makes Evo, you can't even do fatalities because checks notes, sponsorships, and monetization. So you're trying to tell me the main thing that made Mortal Kombat separate from the others you're not allowed to do because the sponsor said no. Coca-Cola said they don't want to see Sub-Zero rip that guy's head off. So just at the end it says finish him. Just throw the jab out and take your $1 million. Like what? That's boring.
But
And then like
that's esports.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's esports. I don't like esports. I do like when people have their own. Even if I don't go to them, I can still acknowledge it, right? Like the locals or like small communities or discords. I can respect that a lot more even if they never play for money, but they know everybody, they know how you play, they know each other. Like the little meme where everyone knows your name, but like I'll take that way before I take the sanitize. Everyone has to wear this here. Put on this jersey. Say a little bit of fake smack talk because we have to try and make it look a little interesting. You press the buttons, and then everything is like PG-13 at most.
Yep, we can't get a little too rough in here because the whole thing with Mena and Knuckle Dude and the whole thing that happened with what's his name at that Frosty Faustin where they basically edited out of the replay.
Yeah, it's like what do you think fighting games are? It's like that's what I mean by well, I think it's also a lack of like gatekeeping. Part of like the esports thing is that they try to appeal to everybody. Like I said, not everybody or every game or every product for that matter is made for everyone. That's just entitlement. If you think like every game has to cater to your whims, you're entitled and the game is not meant for you, put it down. You're going to kill the game. Um
Mhm.
like the concept of well, I like modern control. You're just gonna kill the game, bro. Don't do it. It's not for you. The game's not for you. To the point where like you get a lot of people. That's why I think a lot of people flock to people like Punk. Punk. Um, there's another player. Who am I thinking of? Another trash talker. Is it Noah?
Yeah, Noah the Prodigy.
Okay. Noah, especially Punk. A large portion of why people like them is not because he's really good with cam and he can press button really good. It's because he Punk is a Philadelphian in the FGC, and he's been playing fighting games. Like he grew up the same way you and I have. At least I have. It's very common for people to grow up like Punk did, and it feels a lot more natural, a lot more human when I see him popping off and telling another player that they're trash. And it's like the heat of the moment too. And he'll like joke and like money match me for it, but it's like I'll take that before I take the constant. You can tell the player didn't like the match, but they'll still like dap up and say GG's. They'll put their head down. Like Like the Sanford Kellys. Now, I'm not gonna really condone throwing your controller, but I will say you can tell there's a soul to it.
Yeah.
Sanford Kelly lost, and he just stood there, and you can tell that dude was reflecting on like his life's decisions that like led up to this. Like, man had like a whole life flash before my eyes moment. Players like Punk will pop off to the point where like there's a compilation. Like his family, his mom was in the background going, you tell him, baby." And it's like, yeah, that's hype. That's cool. That's where you get like the love of the game, the moment that it created, that the video game or your entertainment, the moment that you feel and enjoyment and self like enjoyment out of it, and the moments you make with other players, that is where the fighting games or video games in general will thrive, right? Not whatever whatever makes everyone like money at the end of the day, or whatever caters to everyone, because you cater to everybody. You're catering to nobody. You'll please nobody. But it's just that humanity, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But sometimes it feels like it's so like scripted almost. Like
Oh yeah,
the rivalries and sometimes with the trash talks, it feel like we kind of like
yeah,
pre-planned this stuff out. We kind of shift into brackets where people can kind of meet each other where they shouldn't really be meeting each other to kind of get a
yeah.
storyline going.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like they have to artificial because they already have all of these rules in place. I'm pretty sure it's like not you're not supposed to be trash talking. Nobody's allowed to be an FGC villain. Now I give the guy a lot of rack because I don't really like him as a player, or well, as a person. As a player, he's pretty good. But as a person, I don't like Sonic Fox. But I'm not gonna act like he doesn't have a soul. Like he pops off, he gets hype, he'll tell players that they're trash, or he'll say, "Okay, okay, I see." Like he'll lose and be like, I see you." Hit the rematch button, stuff like that. Tokido had like a little my favorite player, Tokido. He had a good minute where he was joking with the measuring tape. Actually, I'm 50-50 on if he was joking or not with that measuring tape, but like he walks up on the stage at the end of a Raging Demon, things like that, like you gotta live in the moment. I think fighting games are their best where, like I said, everyone's thriving and all that. When it kind of feels like a community, right? Like where
Hmm.
even on the Evo stage, like the highest stage, like the fighting game Super Bowl, it still feels like you're in an Xbox party or a Discord call with the boys, and there's still a lot of inside jokes. There's still a lot of like let's go moments. Like that is where you will get it. That's where you'll get it. Not I'm just the best player, and or this is like what's safe for brand. Like people like LTG, whether regardless if you think he's a good person or not, he's still very entertaining.
Like yeah, I would say that about him. And most people I've talked to that said they've met him like he's completely different than how he is on streams and stuff. Like when you
Oh
meet him in
yeah,
person, like
yeah,
he kind of
yeah, for
just he's
sure.
kind of just chilled and just like kind of laid back and stuff. It's just like
Yeah,
I'm like it's just a persona.
yeah.
It's just his persona that kind of precedes him on certain
Yeah,
things.
he even said this like himself on numerous streams. He's like, "You think like I'm gonna act like this, that, and the third?" And it's like, no, because he's still a guy that has to work in regular society. Like there are numerous FGC villains, Sonic Fox, low tier god to varying degrees. Anyways, low tier god, Filipino champ, I believe, was the Marvel guy.
Hmm.
And it's like you need these villains. Like Cave. No, I don't think it was Cave Rat. I think it was Wolf Crone. I think it was Wolf Crone that was considered the villain in that situation. But you need villains. You need some level of hype. And fighting games are pretty good when it feels like it's WWE. It feels pretty good. You actually have more passion. You actually care who wins at the end of the match now. So instead of seeing like Tokido, or instead of seeing Ken or Akuma or Jury win, now you see or Idom, like Idom's like Manon. Instead of seeing them win, I see Idom win. And if I'm a New Yorker, I want Idom to win because I'm from New York. Like New York is like the most self-pretentious NYC. Like NYC is like everyone talks about Dominican Republic in their name, which for sure, but like New York, like you always see NY or New York City. But I do like that they have like a level of this is where I'm from, right?
But
Like,
I don't know. Do you feel like it's kind of gonna esports is gonna ultimately kill the community? Because, like you said, like we both pretty much were seeing the community kind of split down the middle when it comes to this whole
yeah,
situation. And now, not only is the
yeah.
community split down the middle, now you got an anti FGC over here that's trying to get started. So it's like,
I
what?
wouldn't even say it's anti-FGC. I think a huge misconception about that because like it's like on both lines, right? There's on
Mhm.
both fronts. There's the monetization, kind of like taking the soul out if it means we can nickel and dime the player base. And then there's on the other half what people call the old FGC, but in reality, or the old FGC, the anti-FGC, the underground. In reality, that's the old FGC. They'll say that these people are hateful. They're not. Like, you ever enter these discords and or Xbox chats or whatever, and you feel like you're taken back to like 2010. You're just playing with the boys, you do like a move and they'll call you gay or retarded. It's like whatever. You don't let that thing get to you. You just rolls off. You're still boys at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It was just a moment, like you can't be uptight all the time. You lose it, like I said, you lose a lot of soul if everyone's constantly speaking in such a way as to not offend someone. But in reality, like these people have no problem donating to charities. They have no problem telling you they're passionate about the community. They want the community to strive. And a lot of these players will tell you they don't even care about like the whole LGBT. They'll tell you they don't even care about a lot of stuff, and that's true. Like a large portion do. Don't even care. Others do. Like for example, I'm a Christian, so like I would kind of see it as wrong. But regardless, I have numerous friends within the opposite community, if you would call it that. And I'm here because we both have a shared interest in fighting games, right?
mm-hmm.
So if we can connect through fighting games, then I don't see what the problem is. Obviously, at least on that level, right? On like a player to player level. But
Yeah,
you just look at the higher ups and you got James Chen or like Ultra David constantly morally grandstanding, which is it's upsetting because like James Chen used to be my favorite commentator. Now it's Saiyan, but Saiyan's really cool. I actually like Saiyan. But like you see like not just commentators, but like higher ups or the top players, Sonic Fox, Leffen, the Smash community's full of them. Like it just looks like a big club, and it just, instead of feeling like a community as like, oh, we're doing this for all the player base, it just feels like this is the club. You have to be really good or notable in order to join this club, and then we're gonna kick the ladder down and then like make the rules instantly for everyone because we're better than them. There's a huge difference. Like it feels like as if like they're unapproachable at times. Like if you went to the FTC back in the day, you could walk up to Infiltration and like shake his hand, Tokido, Sakanoko. You could say, "Hey, how's it going?" to K Brad. Like he'll take pictures, and they love it. But like now, you look at certain communities, and they'll even be fake, which is weird to me. Like they will say they're cool, shake your hand, and all that, and then like, well, I see your Twitter account. And you like this one thing I don't like, so you're actually a bad person. You're banned actually because I quote feel uncomfortable.
yeah,
I
and that
never threatened you a day in my life, but like you feel uncomfortable, so now you're
and
banned. Like how's that work?
and that's the craziest thing that I've seen so far. That like nothing's actually transpired between these people, but because this
Yeah,
person's going to this tournament, I don't feel comfortable with them being at this tournament. But they haven't said or did anything to you, and the TOs kind of oblige that person and say, "Well, we're just not going to let them come." And I'm kind of like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? They haven't done anything. They just don't agree with everything that this person's talking about, and that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine."
that's fine. Like we're not even here for the political nature. We're just here to play a video game. But they kind of just it's real. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth of life. They kind of just humans are tribal like peoples, right? We're tribal creatures. So the way they see it is this TO also has pronouns in his bio. So if I complain to him because that guy made me feel uncomfortable, doesn't matter if the threat's credible or not. Like you like see the guy in real life and like he's just like hanging out with the boys. But like because he said he calls you a name you didn't like on Twitter, now you gotta get him banned and you just kinda you can police people, but that only works for so long before people get fed up and you see as we're going you see like a large rift. Everyone feels like they're walking on eggshells if you're in the regular or like not even regular. If you're in the like current washed up plastic FGC, you're constantly walking on eggshells. You constantly gotta like know someone's pronouns. You gotta know what the character that you're supposed to like. You gotta know how to use the right character, how to use them. But if you just like took a step back, entered the old FGC kind of like revamped, like the way it used to be, they'll call it the alt FGC, but like the actual original FGC that kind of got taken over. And it's like, so fighting games are pretty good. Like that guy is playing a character I'd never see anybody play. They actually are cool with me. Like they'll even like make plans to like go hang out like outside of fighting games. Uh, and that's really what it's supposed to be. Fighting games are just like another medium where people can connect. So I kind of
Okay.
like vibe with that a lot more than constantly morally grandstanding, and especially then you see like later on, everyone's constantly turning on each other, snaking each other. They're not actually the most moral. As it turns out, the people constantly moral grandstanding are not the most moral people in the world. Who would have known?
And the Strive community is going through that right now with that.
Yeah, Strive community. I think what really got to me there is if 2012 like Street Fighter Five is what I was like getting turned off from the whole esports era. Like a lot of players or just people in general, people don't care about things until it affects them or the thing that they like, right?
Hmm.
So people didn't care about fighting games. It was cool, or just gaming as a whole. It was really cool, chill, and like just extrapolate that to like the larger gaming community. We don't care. We just like playing our little hobbies and the games or whatever. And then now all of a sudden, like because gamings need to be, it's very merchandisable. It's very franchisable. It's $1 billion. It's like one of the most, if not the most, like what profitable
Yeah, it's pretty much.
industry like
Yeah, it's.
among them.
I think it pretty much is the most profitable because it's more profitable than Hollywood right now.
Yeah, exactly. And Hollywood's producing slop because they need to promote a message. You see what I mean? It's like you can find this in everything, and that's what I mean. People don't care. A lot of people didn't care until it kind of just affected what they liked. If you're a moviegoer, now all of a sudden, all the Marvel movies are either sloppy or like the modern day movies are either trying to push a political message for leftism or it's just like something along the lines of like Marvel. This is the next big thing, and we are gonna. It doesn't have to be particularly written well. There could be plot holes, but and the CGI may or may not be good, but the kids like it. They don't know any better, and we just know you're gonna pay to watch this. And it's like, oh, okay. So you wonder why Hollywood's dying. Call of Duty or like Halo, all these microtransactions. Like, you can't convince me that like World at War is not a better game than like World at War is a better game than Black Ops 6. They can like tell you it doesn't matter what they tell you about the millions of people that bought the game more or this why this game's dead. And it's like okay, you're like trying to mog on a game in like 2008, whatever. But the Xbox 360 era is considered the best generation or like the best era to play video games for a reason. Like you hop on that game back in the day, you just look at the clips. Everyone was like, it felt like everyone was on your friends list back then. Even people you didn't like, it felt like it was high school. It was fun. WWE is like high school, and you're like everyone's your friend. It's like your neighborhood. Now everyone's like really depersonalized. No one ever goes in the game chat. Everything is like for microtransactions or to sell you or to sell you on an agenda. There's no soul to it. It's dead. No one cared until it started affecting their thing. I didn't care about the whole LGBT thing, yada yada, until around 2018, 2019, where everyone's just demanding me that I have to do this, that, and the third. And of course, they're gonna hit you with the same talking points. It's called being a nice person. Well, I see what you call being a nice person, but you also told that guy to like kill themselves over like that same mistake that I made. The only reason the only reason you didn't tell me to off myself is because we're considered friends and you're just trying like a good person. Like you're not consistent. These people are principled. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because
It's like these people are not principled.
I've said I used to like a lot of stuff before I knew the politics of the people who made it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like now I can't really enjoy it because you keep trying to force your viewpoint down my throat.
Yeah, and it's not even good either, right? So it's like it's not even good. Like it can't it's not enough that
Cause my
like
wife,
Star Wars. Oh, go
cause
ahead.
I'm about to say, cause my wife would tell you like we've seen pretty much all the Marvel movies. The last movie we went to and actually saw was probably Endgame,
Hmm.
and after that, it's like okay, here comes Black Panther 2 without Black Panther in it. Uh, here comes a bunch of TV shows that don't really mean nothing.
Yeah,
Here,
all the TV they don't mean anything.
and I'm like, oh well, now we got an Ironheart show. I'm like, well, her comic book wasn't really selling that great. So
I
like,
mean, it's like I told you, bro. They'll wear what you like as a skin and just use it just to promote their agenda or sell you something. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting because like you can just like even like someone that is a part of it's not just LGBT or yada yada. It's like the Free Palestine people that don't even like know where that is on the map. Not to say I have a dog in this film. I'm just saying like these people that put all these things in their bio, the mask people, the people that are so traumatized to this very day in 2025, like 6 years later, 5 years later, they're still wearing a mask at the local, not registering that this is a whole air conditioned room. If someone's sick, you're going to get sick. Just live with it. Like, but they just want to be seen as a good person, right?
Mhm.
Whoever, as long as you can say you're a good person, you don't actually have to be a good person or a knowledgeable person. You're kind of just a lemming, a useful idiot. It's really unfortunate. I don't like saying it like that, but like it's true. You are a useful idiot. You don't actually have your own convictions, and a lot of people kind of just bow down to the mob or whatever the perceive. And I think this is where you start to see like the alternate FGC or just in politics, like the whole Trump victory. Oh, we like Trump the whole time. You started to see a lot of people that were like morally grandstanding or like they had this idea, but effectively a lot of people in your life on either side will just kind of subscribe or acquiesce to whatever the common talking point or like the commonly socially acceptable thing to do.
Because I remember that whole thing when COVID was going around, and then the vaccine came out. Because me and my wife went through it at our jobs, where they were basically like, "Well, you have to get the vaccine. If you don't get it, if you get sick, we're not going to pay you." Her job was basically like, "If you don't get it, we're going to have to let you go."
Yeah, it's disgusting. Like that should be a lawsuit right then and there. Like
And I'm just like,
also like these same people. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna go ahead, bro. My bad.
and I was just like, I don't feel comfortable putting an experimental drug in my body, and it just. I'll wear a mask if that's what y'all want me to do, but I'm not putting an experimental drug in my body.
All right. And then you see like also I'm not sure if you like pay attention. I do because I'm like in the politics. That's like my main, if not my second main thing behind gaming. They're intertwined. It's just like you see eventually like only 2018, so like a few years later, like 3-ish years later, they're just holding briefings and like court like they're going to court and like you have people like Fauci just admitting before the judge that yeah, the 6 feet rule and the mask and the double mask, and once they even said triple mask, the one vax, the double vax, and then the triple vax, they said that like all of this, especially like all like a majority, like, they admitted that all of this they were trying to quote unquote go off of, well, I guess it's YouTube. They're trying to say that they were going off the best information they had, but then they also will admit that they have no real basis for those claims. So it's literally just trust me, bro. But because that guy has like a degree the "trust me, bro" makes a lot more sense. Apparently, the credentials mean everything, even above common sense.
Trust me, don't we don't need to get into politics. 'Cause trust me,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
I got
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
Fauci. I got a lot to say on him, especially with him taking that pardon. I'm like, why
Yeah,
you
it's like
taking a pardon for something you ain't even did? You ain't been charged with anything, so why you need a pardon?
yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's like, we're Americans too. Like Americans are naturally skeptical of authority, like, which is good. It's nice. It's why we constantly speak the way we do. It's why you treat your boss as if he was like any other person. Like, there's some respect to it, sure, but like they're not above you, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's why we can hold numerous figures in the FGC or any community to account when we are able to, anyways, because they're not better than you at the end of the day. At the end of the day, that's just another human being.
You know, like I like players that I've gone to tournaments and I've met a lot of the players like Mena, Just a Kid, Kizzy K. Like I met them, but I'm like I'm cool with them, but it's like
Hmm.
we're not friends like that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not just a follower just because you say it or you do it. I'm just supposed to go along with it.
yeah. That's okay too. Like, you don't have to be friend. You're not even. It's not even possible to be friends with everyone. It's the same thing. Like, people are not everyone's for everyone, man. Like, you're not gonna make friends with everyone,
I know
but you can like have some level of like, oh yeah, we can like sit in the same room together and play fighting games. Why not?
it just seems like common sense now and just basically just having just if you can't be neutral nowadays and just say, well, I don't really
Yeah,
care about this. I'm neutral on things. I don't really have an opinion on this or that.
yeah,
It's like no,
yeah.
you have to come down on one side or the other.
Yeah, and I feel bad because, like I said, the average Joe doesn't even care. They're stereotypical. If you're a boomer or older, you're just like, I just want to grill. I jokingly put in my bio for like a while. I just wanted to game because I didn't care about politics until like whatever happens will just eventually come down to affect you. It's unfortunate. It's just like I said, it's just true. There are many truths that like you have to come to terms with, even if you don't like it. I think it's like a big thing. A lot of people will say the truth, like they'll say platitudes like the truth is you can't handle the truth is difficult. But then if they ever apply that to things that they feel personally uncomfortable with, then there's a cognitive dissonance, right? Like
Hmm.
you could say things like the two gender thing, that's just like a basic truth, but all of a sudden they'll like ask you things, or like a lot of people will be like, well, Shadow, do you think about this? You're friends with this kind of person, and you said that you have a problem with that person's group. Well, number one, it's a 50-50 on if they actually apply to that group or not, like on a political level. But just on like an actions level, like, oh, they're actually, homosexual. That doesn't mean I can't be his friend. Like, you're not gonna agree with everything or like, your family or like your friends do. That's just weird and impossible. Try convincing you and the boys or like your whole entire family or household when eating the same thing for dinner. Very difficult, let alone having the same worldview. And at the end of the day, you're humans. You're supposed to like connect with other people, right? And despite the differences. So I do have numerous friends in I suppose the community. They don't even really like a lot of them don't they won't put the flag in there. It's just like a natural fact of life to them. That's not their identity, right?
Hmm.
Um, like on racial lines, people do the same thing. They're like saying things like I'm black and I'm beautiful, and I'm like, can I just like be an American, bro? Like, can you just like both play fighting games? Like what are we doing? What are we talking about, man? Like, I hated the meme that's been going around. If you remember it, the white woman neutral thing.
Mm.
It's such a dumb like. Personally, I'm like, this is so stupid because it's just like there to make fun of white people. Which don't get me wrong, awesome sauce is really stupid. Like that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard to describe something. But you can't like make fun of other things. Like I have some. I like to have fun. I like to really have fun. Like you can make fun of me. I can make fun of you. Uh, they make fun of me every now and then for being black, or like I'll make fun of like the Asian players. Like I'm like, I'll throw a button out in neutral. I get whiff punished, and I was like, he only punished me because he's always perpetually squinting. He can see the frame. He can see the frame because he's Asian. And like we're all laughing. It's like, and like, there could be like that one guy's like, you know that's racist against Asian people. It's like, shut up, bro. My favorite person is Tokido. Like, I love Tokido. Tokido got me to like work out, have huge respect for him. He's a cool guy. Infiltration, he's pretty cool. Um, like Sokka, like all these people are really cool. Like they just use insults as a means to discredit you. They don't even have to believe the insult they're throwing out at you. They'll call you racist, sexist, whatever. They don't even half the time believe the insult if you're in person. If you're online, they don't really care. It's just simply means as to way to discredit you or character assassinate you. That way you can virtue signal to everyone this person is quote unquote a racist. This person I've deemed as a sexist, which means that everyone else should like get the subconscious message that we shouldn't listen to this person
Yeah.
without like not only are they wrong, but like they're automatically wrong because they're this perceived title that they just gave them, and they won't even look into like is that true or not. That guy that you said was sexist, well, or an incel. Well, that guy literally has a wife and kids, so how you gonna call him incel?
Yeah,
Uh,
but that goes back to the whole thing where you were talking about where a lot of people just follow. Like if you
yeah, yeah, they just
like
follow.
you go right now put the trans flag and all that stuff in your bio, but the second you say something about two genders, all of a sudden, oh, you're the worst person in the world.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're horrible, you're evil, it's that and the third. And reminder, I believe heavily in like certain like political and just social realities like people have in-group preferences. People will always be self-interested. Human nature is flawed. That's just basic truth, right? Like
Hmm.
you can try and say you believe in blank theory, and it's like the community, it's the culture, social norms. In reality, people are just gonna do what benefits them right then and there, and a large part of that is just self-destructive. But it's like nah, everyone's kind of an NPC. That's okay. I think it's very telling that our generation, like I said, Gen Z, has been told it's bad to be a follower. I think more importantly, because not everyone can be a main character, not everybody can be a leader. More importantly, why don't instead of just constantly not being a follower, why don't you just pick a good leader or pick a good role model and just be like, okay, I won't agree with everything that person's doing, or I won't subscribe to everything they're doing, but it's better than constantly morally grandstanding because I want to be the next leader. No, I'm just gonna stick behind this guy. This guy's pretty cool, and not what he says goes, but I can still rally behind him, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you can think for yourself.
but
Don't be a blind like lemon.
I think that's the bad thing about the community though. People like they willing to follow, but they're only willing to follow long enough to try to trip you up so they can take your spot.
Oh yeah, it's like I'm not sure if you're into history or political. It's like USSR politics. It's just like Russia. It's like old school communist politics. They're only your friend, but like the moment they like are within striking distance, they'll just cut you down. And in the USSR, the moment that guy took your job and usurped your power, well, now you are getting sent and you're getting jailed for some made up crime, and you don't exist the next day. But like in the FGC or any other fighting game or fighting any other video game, or just not even fighting games or video games, like just any other community, it's just a constant. I was on the right side of this issue, which means that I'm a virtuous person, and then like also my subscriber count is only 200 thousand less followers than you, which means I'm in striking distance. And all of a sudden, there's a twit longer about you, which means that I now take your power. It's like, yeah, so like that person isn't your friend. Actually, you're just like waiting for the time you get to hold the monopoly. Now, don't get me wrong, you can criticize your friends, you should.
Yeah,
Nothing is worse than a friend that is like constantly a yes man. You should actually have friends that will disagree. It's really weird if you have a friend that only disagree or only agrees with you all the time to some degree, like that's weird, right? They're not self-interested. If your friend or your family member constantly agrees with you on everything, couple that with the fact that humans are naturally flawed, no one's perfect, you're gonna make mistakes. It makes you wonder if you're gonna engage in like a self-destructive behavior and they're like, that's okay, and they won't even like give you the frame of reference of no, that's not a good idea. Like I won't even fight. Like maybe I won't fight you specifically. Like I will say like a voice concernment and disagreement. If they won't even be willing to do that, you really gotta like evaluate if that's really your friend or not. There's a lot of snakes, a lot of people that don't care about you. Like, even if they're not a snake, they will just remain silent on an issue until
It's
the
socially acceptable.
popular, yeah, those like socially acceptable opinions that like what I call the moist critical intellectuals. And it's kind of like a snipe at him, but well, I'm a nobody on the internet, so whatever. But the kind of like moist critical will seemingly wait for like the popular opinion to check out, and then like you're seen as an intellectual because you simply said that what he said in the video. You're just naming the same talking points in the same sarcastic pseudo intellectual tone without actually thinking about the both arguments at hand, the ramifications, both sides of the story. You just get your preconceived like talking points and then you just like go on about your day. It's like, okay, so you don't actually have a thought process. That's why like a lot of these people you'll try to have a conversation with, like the pronouns flag wild and all that. You try to have like a conversation with these people to explain, no, I'm not a racist. Like, how are you gonna tell me I'm a racist? Like, that's just dumb. Or I'm a sexist. What are you talking about? I have a girlfriend like right here. I don't like more, but like I have a girlfriend, like I have a wife and kids. And it's like, bro, they don't care. They really don't care. Like they're it's harsh, but they're not acting in good faith. They just care about moral grants. Like, they don't care about your opinion. They don't they just want to score and dunk on people, even on a personal level, right? Like they won't have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with you. They'll constantly get really emotional, which I get the passion. Sure, these are important things we're talking about, but like to the point of irrationale. Like they won't see the cognitive dissonance or the logical ramifications of their actions or their thought process. Like they'll say things like, like I think the gender one's like the easiest one. If like back in the what 40s, 50s or something like that, 60s, I think actually, both sexes are the same, not equal anymore. We used to be equal, which is it's good to acknowledge that women are women, men are men, right? Like women
Mm-hmm.
are more emotional. That's okay. That's fine. Women can be more emotional. But at the same time, like a lot of guys knew each other through their wives. Like that's how you get a community. A lot of guys are more willing to engage in violence, and that's okay. You need guys willing to, like fight for the things they believe in. Like what goes a guy if he won't protect you and your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can acknowledge those differences, but then that will just kick down to someone going, they'll take one part of the truth and they'll run with it. Like the one truth of, yeah, yeah, we're equal. Well, someone will say that we're the same now. Well, no, we're not the same. You don't see a lot of women in like the sewer industry, the oil rigs, and they don't even want to, obviously, for good reason. But they don't even like choose to. I think that's the crazy part. You can tell it's in human nature. Like a lot of people will just kind of do what they naturally want to do. It's like trying to force. That's like trying to force. Like I'm a Civilization player. The average person, let alone the fighting games, everyone will tell you a fighting game is not made for everybody. There's a reason why we're like one of the most down bad genres in terms of player base. But you can't force people to play fighting games, right? A guy that
Mm-hmm.
that really loves League of Legends or Call of Duty, like you're not gonna have them sit down and play Street Fighter 6 and take it as seriously as you do. You're not gonna force that guy to play Civilization, which a game you won't even get on like the first couple of tries of playing it. You won't even understand what's going on, right? There's like a lot of hidden things in play. You can't force people to like something.
Mm. My thing is that I can't have conversations with people if they can't acknowledge objective facts. It's like
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Just like I can't do it because it's like like you said with the gender whole thing. It's like okay, I can accept some things if you present convincing enough evidence towards it. I'm
right,
not so stuck in my position that I can never change from it. But when it comes to
right.
something that is like an objective fact that we've known for like as long as I've been
All of human
alive,
history.
Yeah, it's
It's not
like
even just
okay.
those lunch, but like all of human like when people say things like that, like no, the science says this. Okay, yeah, but all of like you got to understand the scientific process, which was, as we know it, made by Christian monks, if I recall, depending on what you're talking about. But like science and religion used to go hand in hand. By the way, science was just a means to understand God's creation. And now it's just very politicized. But you have to understand when they say things like the non-binary and all that, you can be whatever you want. You can be a furry, like an actual for you be fighting against all of human history, virtually everyone like that's ever lived. You're trying to say all of these people are wrong. What are the chances that you're right? Slim to none. And then they wonder why like quote unquote women get prostate cancer. It's like, oh, or insert our relationship is just as normal as yours. Okay, then why are you taking that medicine? So that we can have that same normal relationship. Oh, okay. So you're taking things to make it like to like subsidize it, but in reality it's not normal. Otherwise you wouldn't be taking that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this just inverted. You can really tell, I think, what people should be like taking from it is you can tell if someone's in good faith or not if they're willing to acknowledge reality, like actual reality, um, acknowledge history, not just pointing at it in like a moral light, but just simply acknowledging what happened. And they have to also be willing to be wrong, right? Like if you were to ask somebody something, I think one of the questions you can just do is to see if they're intellectually honest is what evidence would you need me to like tell you or prove to you or show you for you to accept that you're wrong, at least to some degree? Because if you can't prove that someone's wrong in your argument, like if they're not even willing to be wrong, then you're just kind of wasting your breath. Either that or you're talking to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they will be like cognitive, like dissonance, if they're just going to be cognitively dissonant the whole time and intellectually dishonest, like in the Smash community, that guy is a problem. Like technicals is a problem, but not the literal guy that like has relationships with minors. Like that guy he's not a problem. He's actually celebrated by the whole community. It's like, okay, so I know who you cheer and who you boo. And the natural regular person, well-to-do citizen actually agrees with me. So I think that's how you really what it comes down to. I
Cause
think
I've
that's really what it
cause
comes
I've
down
been seeing it in the scene, and I'm like, I don't understand why y'all don't like technicals. I'm like, he's not really, he's not. Only
to.
thing he's doing is exposing people who need to be exposed, and it seems to be an
Yeah,
issue, especially like
it's
with
like
the one with the Guilty Gear Strive player that just came out, and I'm like, I don't have no sympathy for him because he knowingly knew it was a 16-year-old. Like,
right,
so I'm
right.
like,
Wait,
I can't
how
really
was
have
the
any
Strife
sympathy.
player?
22.
22. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I was I actually just watched or listened to like a technicals video at work. I didn't see that one yet because it was too long. But yeah, that
But I
like
think he
you can tell
started their,
something's
but
wrong.
I think they started their relationship when she was like 13.
Oh, oh, well, yeah. See, things like that. It's like, come on, bro. Like the community, like that we all know to be nepotistic, which isn't inherently bad, but you look at who they're propping up and who gets like the power. These people are not good people. They they are not good people. It's just hard to explain. They're not good. They will protect their own if it means that they have some level of power over you. And they really don't like they just don't like you, bro. They just don't like you. They don't like technicals, not because he's some bigger hateful person, but simply because he's just challenging their power. And their power is just like predicated upon being quote a good person and scientifically accurate, which both are just held to like the most basic of scrutiny. It just shatters. So they have no real if you were Chinese, they have no real mandate of heaven or no real authority to really speak on anything. That's why they seem ridiculous. Like ask the average person. Just walk outside the FGC, ask your average citizen So that guy says a couple mean words, and we kicked him out of the community. But we didn't kick out the guy that was literally like having a relationship with a minor. Still look at you like, why isn't that guy in jail already? Oh, because he's a part of a protected minority group, which means that he's virtuous in and of itself.
And I'm like, that's the craziest thing to me. Especially with like, I don't know. I guess we could talk about that too. Like the influx of female players or female basically into the scene, which
Yeah,
seems to now be causing a lot of problems.
yeah. You know, a lot of people give you flack. Maybe you, I don't know, but like me, definitely, and like other players flack for just acknowledging the truth, which is when I was younger, I always thought it was really corny the no girls allowed like stereotype. But there's some actual wisdom to the no girls allowed in the treehouse. Like anytime, any space that is full of men, there's a certain like level of disagreements, etc. that are typically governed and like self-contained, right? Like if you're in a room and it's just like five of the guys and like two of them have a whole argument and they're about to fight, you might even let them fight it out. And at the end of the fight, typically, all right, that's over with. That was literally the court order. It's gone, right? The beef, it'll linger for a bit, but like after give it 2 weeks, it's dead. Also, like in other groups, like well, most groups, if it's just guys, right, you're playing fighting games, or first-person shooters, they're not gonna tell you that this needs like they can like joke and be like, yo, that needs to be nerfed or whatever. But at the end of the day, one of the boys will just be like, bro, you gotta get good. You suck at the game, right?
Hmm.
But if you apply that to like women, like well, the insults, I think the last one's the insults, especially. Like it's the internet, bro. People will insult you all the time. It's pretty funny, actually. Like when people insult me, if I can actually find humor in it, yeah, I'll laugh with. I'll be like, all right, bro, you got that. That was pretty good. Well played. GG, well played. But that doesn't mean we're like necessarily friends. Even so, like, we don't even have to be friends. You can, I literally dislike you, but if you got a good joke, all right, you got that one. I'll give you that. But you get to women, and it's like now everything will need to be catered to them. Like now every space that has females in it, you have to cater to them, which is why we used to gatekeep and say that it was a boys thing. It's why that's some of the best video games and best communities, tight knit, have very few women in it, if at all. This isn't to say that like some women can't join, right? But you have to be not a female. You have to be like a female willing to be one of the boys. So there's a difference. It's like immigration policy, you know? Like you can't say that I'm a Mexican or Japanese or British American. No, you have to be an American, you know? Otherwise, it doesn't really work because you're still catering to the other group and you're it's like this dual citizenship. You can't like walk into the like as a female into a fighting game group and just be like, well, you're saying mean things. Like you can't say that I suck. I'm just learning. And it's like, okay, you still suck. Like you're not good at the game. Hold the L, loser. Like you think you're like getting special privileges? No, you're trash. But if enough women join in any space or effeminate men join the space, and then combine that with the fact that it has to appeal to the masses nowadays, which a large portion of our population is effeminate or just, you know, outright female, which, okay, yeah, women are like 50% of the population, but you start to like get, now you can't say that word, or now you can't even call someone trash anymore without getting a com ban. This is where you get like the lonely kind of like this is where you get like the echo chambers too, which is just like this is all by like stifling free speech, which is where you get like, are you a PC player or Xbox player? PlayStation?
PC.
Okay, you're a PC player. So I'm not sure how it was for y'all, but on Xbox 360 days, like you could go in the game chat and that's a lively game chat. Everyone's trash talking. You got your squeaker, you got your like all the stereotypes. You got all the best stereotypes. You got your squeaker, you got your Hispanic playing Hispanic music, you got the black guy with like the beep, You got the white kid that's just looking to like blame everything and say it's a hard R as if like that in and of itself means that he's a good player. Riot shielders, except it's great, it's fun. And then you get women into the space. You get everybody wanting to play your game into the space so you don't gatekeep. You're constantly taking like balancing advice from people that don't even play the game as much as you do. Like I'm gonna take that balance advice and the cultural advice of a guy that plays 2 hours of my game every week, as opposed to the guy that puts in like workday shift, or maybe he's a kid, but he still puts like workday shifts in my game like every 3 days. Like, no, your weight actually, your opinion doesn't hold as much weight. So you just get a bunch of like, it turns like what people will call toxic back then. Sure, it was a little toxic. Like, you can't lie and say that like the KFC emblems from Black Ops 2 weren't at least a little bit funny. Like, it was a little funny. Some of them aren't funny; they're just lame and boring. But like, some of them were pretty funny. But then you get like a lot of women; they feel uncomfortable. Effeminate men, they're really uncomfortable. They're literally incapable of shooting shots. Not literally like that, but like they're not capable of like busting people's chops. They're incapable of doing that. These are the same people that will call you like a hateful bigot. We got to get rid of you. You're a problematic person, and they can't. And they think that they're on the right side of history. They're normal, quote unquote normal. But like, you ever ask these people like to just go talk to the cash register person and order their own food? They get nervous, like ordering their own food. Like, no, you're actually socially inept, and you should probably be more like you should be more normal. Like, it's okay. Human being, especially if you're an American, like, bro, find some humor in things. Learn to laugh. Learn to get good. Learn to take the insults on the chin. If anything, if they're calling you trash, or like if it's a whole beat by a girl thing, maybe you should take that and be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm a female, and I'm a female that's been playing Halo, and I was hanging with the boys. And actually, I can hang with the boys. I'm good. So yeah, you did get beat by a girl. LOL. Hold the L. Get good. Like you get the like do that. You get the rite of passage to call someone else trash and tell them to get good. It's a hazing process.
Yeah,
You need that.
I think that's the problem with the community is a lot of guys are just white knighting because
Yeah,
they.
yeah. They really want a girlfriend so bad.
I'm like,
I
man,
think
like
there is a
she's saying something stupid and she's getting called out for saying something dumb. Like, there's
right.
nobody's being sexist or anything like that. She just said something dumb, and she just got to learn to deal with it, just like everybody else had to learn. It's not people are not
Yeah, it's just
being
hold the
mean to
L.
her. It's just like this is just how men talk to each other. And if she wants
Right.
to
That's
be in
part of
this, if
growing
she wants to
up
be in this
too.
scene, she got to learn. Like, you just one of the guys, so we're gonna treat you like one of the guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a lot of women or a lot of people will be like, well, a lot of women that will turn a lot of women off or away from the thing. It's okay. That's okay. I don't see a lot of men join the crochet, like learn to crochet. That's okay. I don't see like a lot of guys wanting to knit, or like a lot of guys aren't like, yeah, there are a lot, but I don't see like every guy wanting to like constantly advertise them being like an artist or something. That's okay. That's okay. We can acknowledge the differences. Acknowledge the differences, learn to live with them. You can coexist. The boys don't need to be in knitting class because of a 50-50 like population of on each side. That's as dumb as trying to balance every character in Street Fighter to be like equal usage rate across like 23 different characters, or no, like 24 different characters. That's impossible. It's ridiculous. You're never gonna get it. Why are we expecting this with just human nature? Most women are not gonna want to play a game in which the whole objective is to shoot the other guy or like make tactical decisions. I'm looking at Rainbow Six Siege, like make tactical decisions or something like that. Or a lot of them are not going to take as much interest in like Dragon Ball Z. That's specifically for guys. It's marketed towards the guys. Women have their games. There are certain genres where they actually excel more than men at, or there's just a larger player base. I think off the top of my head, you got your match threes, and it sounds like you're well. Hey, that's them. They'll that's them. You can't blame me for pointing something out. Like match three games, uh, puzzle games, I believe. and I'm missing another one. But they typically like really hook, line, and sinker into those kind of games.
Yeah, what they call them, cozy games.
Yeah, yeah. But at the yeah, exactly. But you have it's okay. Like if you're a female that enjoys playing Call of Duty and trash talking, uh, if you enjoy trash talking with the boys, if you don't have a problem with someone telling you to get in the kitchen, LOL, hold the L. Instead, just tell him to go fix a car. Like, bro, hold the L and then roll with the punch. You can laugh and or you can just insult them back. Not go, he shouldn't be allowed to say that because he's making me feel uncomfortable. It's like, oh, okay. So you just want to kill the hobby. You just want to kill the hobby. Like, you actually don't care. You just want the whole entire thing to bend around your will. So you don't care about the hobby. Like, there's no soul there.
And I would say
That would
with
just lead us back to the very beginning. But go ahead.
and I would say with that, I'm like, when people do that, I'm like, y'all are catering to people that are gonna be here for maybe a month or two, and then they're gonna drop the game. It's
Yeah, exactly.
like that
The
makes
player
no
base will just
sense.
die. I haven't played a lot of games that came out after probably Street Fighter Five, if not before, because a lot of people would just constantly go, "This is the next big game. Me and my boys are hopping on. You want to like hop on that shit? You want to play pause? You want to play that Shadow?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, bro. Are you not good at it or something?" No, there's just like a gut feeling that either I look at the community or the fan base, whether they just be the ideologues, the women, or like the monetization bros that think that it's just cosmetics, bro. It doesn't hurt the game. I look at those games, the communities, the gameplay, and I'm just like, this game is not gonna like last more than a couple of months. I don't think anybody will really care about this. There's nothing here. It feels like a lot of these games release simply so, and like people will play it. Like your friend group can play that game as if they simply just want to be really good at one game, and if it doesn't shake out, they'll leave. Like, is this the game that I can make money off of and like say I'm really good at? No, okay, I'll leave.
Cause
It's it,
it's I'm about to say it's going on right now, and I'm just laughing about it with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Is that all of a
mm,
sudden I seen everybody in the world on YouTube just all of a sudden streaming it like, oh man, we're back, we're playing Ninja Gaiden. Then I check into the stream and it's like you're playing it on level basically normal, and you're basically getting killed here, here, and here.
yeah,
I'm like, you're not
yeah.
playing this game. You're
It's
not playing it because you want to play this game. You're playing it because it's the new hot
it's
thing right now.
popular. Yeah, it's like that's what I hate the streamers that do that and the YouTuber. Like, oh, I get it, they're gonna try and chase the bag, right? But at the same time, like it's so shameful and like soulless. It's very shallow. It's like no different than the people that constantly use the arrow, the giant red font text in their thumbnails. And it's like you have no soul, bro. Please play a game that you actually want to play. That way I can see your genuine reaction, not simply surface level. Well, this game has 200,000 people playing it on Twitch, and this game will get me 4 million views on YouTube if I play it because everyone's playing it, especially in the horror games. I think horror games is like the only one where they can convincingly do that. But like you take COD or like Fortnite for example, you can tell these people don't like playing the game. You can tell like in their eyes they only play the game because that's all like people are going to watch. They're not there for the personality because, well, sad to say, but a large portion of the people that get propped up aren't particularly interesting, which is why I just say if someone says that they want to stream, I just tell them you better be funny, entertaining, or really good because they're not going to watch you if you're not one of those three, or if not like a combination of one of those three. No one cares that you're like that average Joe and you're like a 17. No one's gonna care if you're like 1700 and lower on Street Fighter if like they never hear you talk stuff like that, right? You're just like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, I just see gameplay. But people will hop in Punk stream because he's really good, pretty funny. He argues with his chat pretty frequently. Sage and Idom are also really entertaining. They argue with their chat, like that's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
There's like an entertaining fact. There's like interaction too. There's inside jokes. Um, And yeah, it's okay that like some people like a lot of people are gonna watch Item stream, for instance, because he's playing Street Fighter 6. He participates in TNS. But there are times where he just wants to play the bass. Uh, and then there are times where he just wants to play. Like there was one time, there was like an era, like when the game first came out, it was hilarious. He would get salty because he couldn't punish Jerry Drive Rush, and he's like, "Bro, okay, bro, you got it." He would hop off the game, alt tab it, and just immediately boot up Sonic Adventure 2, and everybody would just like laugh at him. But then like a large, like he would lose like a good portion, like a solid, like noticeable portion of his like viewer base. But everyone that was in there was like also a huge Sonic fan. So everyone was like laughing at him and clowning him, but also giving him props for like, oh, cool, we're playing Sonic Adventure 2. Let's go. That's a lot better than that guy has 500,000 viewers and they only watch him because he plays that one game.
That's what I've noticed that about the FGC streamers. Like if they stream a fighting game, their particular game, but they Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, whatever, they have a big crowd. And then you see, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they'll play. Oh, I'm gonna be playing Overwatch, or I'm gonna be playing this game, and all of a sudden their viewership, they might have like 500 people watching when they playing fighting games. Then they decide to play a different game. All of a sudden they got 79 people watching, and
I
I'm
think
like,
there's like I know it's very discouraging, right? Like you want, like say, like, but like gamers are gamers, right? Like
mm-hmm,
you don't play just Street Fighter. Like I don't think there's anyone that just only plays Street Fighter 6. That's really weird if that's like the only game you stream and that's the only game you play. Like bro, he's still a gamer, right? Like that guy is still a gamer. Like it's not like he only boots up Street Fighter, lives and breathes Street Fighter. Sometimes he wants to just stream or play with the boys. He wants to play CS:GO. He wants to play Fortnite. He wants to play Grand Theft Auto 6. He wants to speedrun or something. I don't know. Whatever have you. And like they see their like player, like their viewer count drop a little, and they're like, "Oh, I shouldn't play this because the viewer count for some reason matters more than anything else." No, you can do both. You can play Street Fighter or your main game, but like don't be afraid to branch out. If you're entertaining enough, they will watch you for you, not just your game, and that's far more healthy and it's better in the longevity of your career or hobby than if you were to just get stuck in the cage of playing one video game. I play Clash Royale every now and then. Clash Royale, like there's a large portion of YouTubers that will just put CR in their name for Clash Royale or Clash for Clash of Clans. Okay, so what happens if you see them play something outside of that genre? Like they'll just constantly hound you. But you're supposed to be the Clash guy. It's like, see what I mean? You can't like put yourself in that bubble.
yeah,
That's why I'm against putting people putting like insert game here typically, like in their names. Like, bro, don't associate yourself with only that one game. You can be notarized, like you can have like notoriety and like fame in that game, but do not hunker yourself down to that one game because no one game will last forever. Doesn't matter how good the game is, it will not last forever. There will always be something new eventually.
I'm like, yeah, I've been working on mine. But pretty much, I go before I used to stream. I just always fighting game, either Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, or something like that. It was just always a fighting game. And then I got to the
Yeah,
point where I was just like, man, I stopped streaming because like, God, I really just don't want to play this game. I want to do something else. And
yeah,
it's like it almost made me quit streaming because I'm like, man, I want to stream, but God, I just don't want to. I don't feel like playing Street Fighter right now. I don't feel like playing Guilty Gear. I want to do something else.
yeah. I think that's why a lot of people like laughed at Idon. He's like, because I think like people like realness, right? They like genuine. Like, that's why people like example like Trump. A lot of people hate Trump. A lot of people love Trump. But you can't say he's not genuine, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when he says he's not like the other politicians, I'm just taking him as an example because everybody knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, he does political things, right? He still is technically a politician. But when he says something to you, you can tell most of the time, especially in 2015, it was not behind, or like nowadays, it's not behind this level of political polish. Like, no, he's like kind of talking to you as if at most he was just like a higher up, like at the same building that you work at. Like, he is a real person, you know? People like that authenticity. I think that really translates well. And like I keep saying, it's like probably the third time I brought up like Item, Punk. They will watch them play something else. And Item will literally admit, like, okay, that's enough Street Fighter 6 for the day. I was watching him play like a whole set versus Just a Kid, who plays Jury, and that's like an incredibly annoying character to fight in and of itself. And he already doesn't like Street Fighter 6 mechanics. So I remember Item got hit with like crouching medium kick, and in the middle of Just a Kid's like winning combo for the game, all tabs out of the game. Okay, that's enough. Street Fighter 6. Booted up once again. Booted up. What's it called? Sonic Adventure 2. And if not, he'll boot up. What's it called? He'll boot up the base game, like when he's like playing on his base, and it's like that's funny. But at the same time, I can like have a large respect because he will play like what he wants to play. Like he's still a gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a competitive player, yes, but you never forget at the end of the day, it is just a game, bro. Like you're not forced to play this. Any given point in time, I know people don't want to like accept the reality of it, but at any given point in time, right? You're a competitive player, and even if you don't enjoy it, or if you're losing, you could always just, and it'll sound like really demeaning, but like literally true. You could just be a burger flipper, bro. Like there's nothing actually wrong, and if anything, I actually do have more respect for some burger flippers than the guys that constantly think that I should pay to watch them, like to watch them play a video game. Like the burger guy actually gave me a burger. You probably don't play the character that I play. You're probably not entertaining, but you're asking for money. It's like the one streamer female that was like, uh, she was mad because the donations were not enough, which is ridiculous. Sense of entitlement. It's like, okay, you're crazy.
I know. I've always looked at it like, dude, if you want to subscribe, go ahead. I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna run a whole bunch of times like, hey y'all, hit the subscribe. Hey, do this, do that. Like, if you want to, you want to. If you do, if you don't, you don't. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
I work a full time job. I work like between 40 to 70 hours a week. So I'm like, yeah, like
hmm
this is not my it's not my living. I'm not make a living from this.
Yeah, it's like a hobby. Like I noticed that you said you like get a lot of like merch and etc. Like you'll get like the figurines and all that, and that's cool, right? But that's from your main job,
hmm
the main job that actually like directly contributes to society and the economy, not because you are like, oh, you play this game and this game makes like no, like I think that's also what allows. I think that's also in part what allows a lot of people to be like humble because they actually do have regular jobs, so they can come to the video games as an escape to like just chill out instead of focusing on it like that is their job. I think there's a novelty into it that a lot of people kind of miss.
Because I feel like
Uh,
when it comes to streaming, I'm like that seems. When I look at some of the big streams, I'm like this junk looks stressful with them. So you
yeah,
got
it's like too much that I don't even want that.
like I look at like
Uh,
what's his name, ISO Speed, and then the other
oh
guy,
man, he
wasn't they Kai
travels
Sinat? I'm
all the
like,
time.
dude, I'm not trying to be where I just the second I walk out my house, if I just want to go to a movie with my wife, people recognize me
Everyone will
and just
show up.
bother them.
Yeah. Oh, nah. Yeah. There's like a catch 22. Like if I were to pick someone of like notoriety that I would like, it'd be like no more than like a FTC guy, like an item or something like that, because I'm popular enough to where people in the community would know me, and occasionally they could like ask for a picture, and I had no problem with it. But I could still live my life as a regular person, right? Like I don't need anywhere from the frequent security detail or the constant paparazzi or the mob constantly. Like there's a good level of just, oh, you can live your life as a regular person. Not everything needs to be online or public 24/7. That's no way to live.
When
Like
I couldn't see I would probably quit streaming if I ever got like that. And I
yeah,
know they make good money, but it's something I'm like, man,
yeah.
what's the money worth to you?
There's a lot of people that they'll get mad when they say things like, "Can you believe this streamer said that they're not doing pictures anymore? Please stop approaching them in person." Or a celebrity said that. It's like, yeah. they probably get approached way too often to the point where they can barely like take out their family without some guy like I go to the IHOP, but because I'm an A-list celebrity, I can't even just sit there at the IHOP with my family or take someone out on a date and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, without someone being like, "Hey, can I take a picture?" And it's like, or even if they're like humble, right? Like I can understand if they're nice about it and they're like, "Hey, man, I know this is a little bit. Can I get a picture?" Like they wait, but still like going to bother you to some degree to where like like the fame is not everything, right? Fame isn't
Hmm.
worth everything. You don't need a camera on you 24/7. This is where you start to get your weirdos, like how millennials are notorious, or like what they call the what's it called, the Pixar or the Disney kind of mentality, where their faces are overly animated because people don't actually look like that when they're talking, and it's like really creepy. The constant people that go "What's up, guys?" at the beginning of a YouTube video, and it's really creepy and cringe. It comes off as just like, okay, can I talk to a real person now?
The constant shock face and I can't believe this face.
Yeah, I can't stand those thumbnails. It's like, bro, please. I'd almost rather just see like a thumbnail and it just happened to be like some frame in like the video because you didn't even choose to pick the thumbnail. I'd almost rather pick that honestly than to just see like the insert Mr. Beast face. I only pick him because like or like the dashy face, and it's like, okay, man, I get it. Like something excited happened and it got you like to make that face for a brief moment, but at the end of the day, it does feel like that face in that reaction in and of itself is a little fake because like they expect you now to do this or have a certain like way. Like Lotur God, a great example. Like you meet Lotur God in person, and like, yeah, he's not constantly threatening to one of my favorite ones is where he was like, "I wish a Gao player would teabag me in person. I would snatch the controller and smack it out of my hand. Hey, if you swim, you better hit me. If you do, you're not KO me, and I'm gonna slam you." That's hilarious, but you actually meet him in person, and at most, like he's not really he'll probably just won't say good games to you or something like that. He probably won't say GG. He might like glare or something, but like he's not actually really gonna slam you unless you like did something.
I'm like, because he seems like a real good. He's just entertaining. Like I get what I don't understand why the community doesn't really get what he does to the vast majority of people. I'm like, he's just being entertaining. He's not being serious with some of this stuff. It like the whole
I
LTG thing is like an act.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I think a large portion of when people say, like a lot of his fans or haters, like, I don't understand why he's still around. I don't understand why we still hate him or pay attention to him because he's one of the few people that are still entertaining. Number one, and number two, well, like it reminds me of us of an older, better era of gaming, like that they're trying to squander and squash. They try these people constantly tell you that you're looking at things with rose tinted glasses. In reality, they just don't want you to know how good you had it. Never forget how good you had it in video games back in the Xbox 360 days. Never forget how good it was. Yes, you can wear it with a little bit of rose tinted glasses. Some of the games don't play as good as you thought, but the community was much better. The environment was much better. And if the environment's much better, the games are better just like because you're having more fun, right? At the end of the day, it's about fun. So
Well, 'cause,
yeah, actually remember what they took from you, you know?
yeah, I think it's more so people looking at it and saying, "What's that? We're trying to make that transition over to esports, and this is the sacrifice we got to make that transition."
Yeah, we're gonna sacrifice all these things. Oh, I just remembered the part I was trying to get at. There, they're gonna sacrifice everything to the altar for a check. But they also like need to shut down people like LTG. Now, granted, I'm not gonna say he's a good person. Like all these things coming out against him, I'm not sure to what degree they're valid or whatever. But just on instinctual level of say prior to like the whole why are you booing me like moment, prior to all that jazz happening, nah, they need to get rid of him simply because he reminds us of an older time, a better time, where people could laugh at people, they can make fun of you frequently, but you still showed up at the same local. You still like you still hung out after like the tournament. Like, it's very normal to go to a local talk trash about someone, tell them that they're lost and they're trash and all that, and then like, all right, you guys, now the tournament's over. You guys trying to go like to McDonald's and hang out there or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
going to the
yeah, it's like,
IHOP.
oh, yeah, it's a very guy thing to do to have all that like beef, but like it's very compartmentalized or compartmentalized. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
very just kind of like it's only in the game. It's only in the game. You don't actually have a beef with the person IRL. You can say he's trash, he's garbage at the game, but that's probably because he hits you with crouching medium kick into a death combo, or you simply whiff punished him because you made a hard read. You don't think that he's like a bad, terrible person. Even if you say that, like, bro, you're trash. I hate you as a person because you picked this character. It's like, okay, I get it. He plays Dawson. He wasn't really gonna make many friends in the first place, but like, I'll still go to McDonald's with him. You know, I
Yeah.
can make jokes. The Honda player and the Blanca player. Okay, maybe they did have a taste for paste in kindergarten, but we can still hang out. We can still hang out.
I just think right now the community is willing to sacrifice, like you say, just pretty much willing to sacrifice anything and anybody, and they look at the older players. As long as they toe the line, they're fine. But the second you say or do anything they don't particularly like, they're gonna get you out of there because they feel like you threatening the bag.
Yeah, you're threatening the bag. I think a final good point to end on is you learn this in politics. Like I said, it's like my thing. So you kind of just like take what you know and apply to other things. Instead of viewing, a lot of people view things as like a very linear, like Civ science tree kind of way, where that's why they always say history moves forward, or like you're on the right side of history. Like they always think about it in like a this is the right thing to do. The science says this. It's a very linear fashion. But you speak to smart people and they'll say that time is a flat circle. Everything is kind of gonna like revolve around itself. It spirals on itself a lot. I think even smarter people back like I believe in like the medieval times, they had it probably the best understanding that everything in life, like socially, cultural norms, you can like shrink that down to like the FGC and hold the same standard instead of just a linear constant struggle. It's more like just tending to a garden, you know? It's like you have to treat everything with a certain level of care. Can't let it get out of control, but at the same time, you you can't let the guy that's constantly calling everybody trash, you can't actually like let him get in someone's face, right? Within
Mhm.
like reasonable like K Brad doing it, that's okay. All right. Like they were talking trash, K Brad's not gonna actually swing. Like you don't let the weeds get too tall or the grass too tall as to like constantly like I'm about to swing on you like every fight now it has to be settled with like an actual real life fight. But you don't get what we have now, which is arguably worse, where we avoid conflict so often to cut the grass and all the plants so often to the point where like nothing blooms. It's just surface level. It's just sanitized. You got to treat it as a garden. Like the fact that you're gonna pretend that human nature doesn't exist, whether it be through the gender binary, that's just overt reality, the sexual differences that also include mentally, and then like the fact that humans will just have natural, like it's natural to be in conflict. Like I'm going to have beef with you to some degree because you play Dalsum, but it's okay. It's okay. We can still play together, right? It's like they to cut all of the grass and all the plants before they ever bloomed and celebrate each other's actual differences and not acknowledge it and pretend it doesn't exist.
Mhm.
That'll just be more harmful than anything positive. It's artificial. It'll kill any community that lets it get too far. Just look at the Smash community. And that's where you're gonna start to see what we have now with the quote unquote alternative, but just really restorative FGC scene. And I think yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Because
Summary on that.
because I'm actually going. I've been toying around with the thought of basically trying to see if I could get Tenryo on or one of the guys out of that scene.
Yeah.
Because the main reason I established this podcast is that I want to have the conversation that I feel like when I look at a lot of the FGC podcasts, they don't really tackle like a lot of the issues that's going on in the scene. They kind of play it real safe. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I want to have those conversations, at least try to get a better understanding of what's going
yeah,
on instead of just kind of let's just talk about the same stuff. I'm like, no,
right.
I want to have a better understanding of the situation.
I'm not gonna knock people like Broski. I think Broski's a pretty cool guy. But like example, when he like does trash talk, that's really good, or I like it. But it does feel like the I'm watching a documentary, like the punk when I have to watch that one. But uh there's a certain level of expectation that you're not gonna get Broski to talk to Punk about like in depth as we are to like to the point where like it's okay. Maybe if he says that he'll be canceled or something like that. Like actual what they're thinking, not just like yeah, like push outside of the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's really
just
good that people like Briscoe are doing. I think we need more stuff like that in FGC for sure. Like content creation is kind of down bad.
yeah,
I've even wanted to get into. That's why I got re-getting my computer. But instead of like being a whole well, I don't know about podcasting. I don't know. I just wanted to like be a streamer just as a means to like show people, yeah, we can just play video games and like have fun doing so within like morale. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to like be on someone's case all the time.
yeah. Because the whole thing is that, well, why don't you try to get some of the pro players on? Because I know if I start trying to dig a little too far with a pro player, they're gonna give me the corporate, the corporate line,
Yeah,
and it's not gonna be the interview is gonna end real fast because they're not gonna want to answer certain questions, and it's gonna get kind of
yeah.
just
If
bogged down.
So it would just come down to if you don't get the corporate, well, you don't have enough views, so we can't interview you. Okay, it's FGC, bro. Just talk to people. You might actually get a really good conversation, and then you might also people constantly talk about the climbing up the ladder and all that. If you talk to someone that is perceived lower in terms of like like fame than you, with like a genuine conversation, well, maybe they would just see, oh, you know what, this is what the FTC needs. We actually do need more genuine conversations like this. So yeah, I actually will talk to this guy that people know as much as this. All right. I think even if they do, yeah, you're right. Like whether they can even understand it or not is a different question. A lot of them, it'll sound unfortunate and rude, but they don't understand it. I don't blame them for not having a completely thought out opinion on the political or the cultural nature of the country or the FGC or gaming as a whole because that's not their job. Like they have all other things going on in life. But at the same time, even if they do, they're not gonna actually say it because I might get kicked from my esports team or I might lose my sponsorships. I might get canceled, etc. And it
Hmm.
just yeah, it's like I think things like this podcast, like the Joe Rogan show. I don't watch Joe Rogan all too often, but like every time I see it, it's like very genuine. Sure, the talking points could get like sidetracked. You might go on like a whole 20-minute thing that was never about the original discussion. But that's okay. Humans are like that. Like that's more genuine. I think more genuine and understanding of like how a person's character is will lead to a lot better conclusions and a healthier community. Flowers bloom much better than like, well, this is what you're supposed to say. This, that, and so where you get like your plastic flowers that you never need to water, etc. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the genuineness of it.
Yeah, that's why I just say I wanted to have just. That's why I say when people are like, "Well, do you have topics and stuff?" I'm like, "No, just it's like just a free flowing conversation." And like when
Yeah,
you really have those kind of conversations, like things kind of just topics and stuff just kind of come out of it just from just talking.
yeah. I think a good note when people say if they were to ask you, do you have any topics you want to talk about? Well, you can start off with like one topic, but if you are just willing to entertain like a little bit of level of intelligence, it doesn't take the smartest person to acknowledge everything is connected, which is really nice, right? It's
Hmm.
like I said, it's a garden. So
Yeah.
if you're talking about the fighting games, you could eventually find yourself talking about other fighting games. You can also talk about other communities, other cultures. that get to politics, that can go right back down to your job, that can go back to the personal. It's all connected. You can like conversations will just naturally flow, ebb and flow throughout all other societies or cultural talking points or just the personal, the existential, etc. That's what makes it healthy and good. You kind of cover all the bases, maybe not as in depth or as specific as you like it, but humans are just not gonna be robots, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Uh,
but I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. I know you might have something you need to do. I definitely.
well, actually, it's my free day. I'm actually big chilling. I'm probably gonna take a nap or something after this, but um,
I'm gonna say we'll
uh,
definitely have to put a pin in. Probably do like a part two.
oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I love any of my friend groups. They know I am talkative, sure, but I do like holding very. I much prefer important dialogues and discussions,
Mm-hmm.
even if we disagree. Then like let's just talk about did you know that he beat him at combo breaker? And it's like, what does that say about the tier list? And I'm like, well, I can talk about the tier list, but just know that if we do, I'm probably going to want to talk a little bit more about the balancing as a whole and like how that like extrapolates to like the play we talked about earlier
Mm-hmm.
than just simply, well, yeah, he beat him, so that means my character is better than yours, which it doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't do much. Like you can throw jokes, but like if that was like really your main point, like he beat him, which means that I'm correct in this argument, it's like it's not really enjoyable to me, very surface level. But yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the episode, man.
All right, no problem. Just like
Uh,
I said, remind everybody where they can find you at.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I'm not a super online guy outside of just, I suppose in this case, it'd be Twitter. You can see me in the Street Fighter occasionally, because I do occasionals. You can see me on like Street Fighter ranked. I go by many names. I just have the Club America first. I'm not even a graper, as they would say. I just literally believe in, America first. And then on Twitter, you would see at underscore no at Saiyan underscore shadow because someone took shadow saying it's like whatever, bro. It's just the blue shadow the hedgehog profile picture. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I think there's a couple of other people I like to see here. I think they have some pretty good insight. Um, like Ramsar. Ramsar has some decent insight as to things. He and I have some disagreements. That's fine. There's another guy, Black. A few people I interact with on
Mm.
like Shadow. Shadow knows who some of these people are.
Uh,
And he could vouch for it.
if they're interested, they can definitely just send them my way.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be really
Because
cool.
what I'm
But
thinking about is like doing the episode with you and Shadow on it for the second one, and we kind of have like a three-way.
pause on that. But like, I always joke with people like in the Discord, we have a thing called pause police. So if you say something, you don't say pause, we gotta put you in the book. And yeah, it's like inside jokes like that. It's really fun. But yeah, man, for sure. I wouldn't mind more than like one person or two, three maximum or something like that. Like just talking. Like that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to set it up. It's probably gonna be like the closing of the first season.
Yeah, for sure.
But sure, I definitely
Um
appreciate. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say. So uh no, I guess I don't have to say it. I was just gonna I watched episode three, four, five. I think this will be six. So I gotta watch the first two now. It does take a little bit to finish at work, but I gotta watch this too. So yeah, man, for sure, I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Like you welcome here anytime, bro.
All right, man.
Shoot, take it easy, man.
All right, take it easy. Take it easy.